Prepare yourself for Earthling Entertainment, the perfect blend of paranormal and pop culture, with your host, Joe Wakefield and Ryan Lang.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Earthling Entertainment with Joe Wakefield and Ryan Lang.
Hey, I'm your host who's afraid of flying yet still went to New Jersey last weekend for an awesome convention, Joe Wakefield.
And I pet the New Jersey Devil. Hi, I'm Ryan Lang.
Is that where you went? I thought you just had frequent vape breaks.
No, I did, but while I was out there was the New Jersey Devil, the little scamp, and I gave him a little pet.
Well, there you go. So, returning listeners, hey guys, thanks for coming back. We appreciate it. And remember to download the episode. Because downloading the episode, well, that's just the best way to support the show.
It
Seriously.
truly is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just science. Come on, guys. And those of you who are new listeners, maybe you met us at the convention or the
Hi.
conference. Hey, man, it was great. Terry, what's up?
What up, doe?
Greg, hope you like that keychain.
Yo, dude.
Everybody enjoying their tote bags?
Oh, yeah. Toting a lot of stuff.
So, yeah, guys, we did that convention like we mentioned, and it was a lot of fun, and we got to tell people about our show. But if you weren't there and you missed it and you didn't get to hear what it is Earthling Entertainment does, well, I'm going to tell you right now.
He will. He's about to do it.
So, what we do here is a little bit of the spooky, a little bit of the creepy.
Oh.
Sometimes it's cryptozoology,
Okay.
other times it's a haunting, a myth, or a legend, but it's always spooky.
Oh, my God.
That, of course, is followed by a segment we like to call Disclosure Discussion. That one's all about aliens.
I'm just asking questions. Extraterrestrials, aliens, UFOs, any kind of UFO pictures, videos, old and new. That's what we like to talk about.
That's right. And then the second part of the show, the latter half, if you will, is all dedicated to pop culture and entertainment.
Woo!
Sometimes we have celebrity guests. Other times we have quiz games or we
Mm.
have audio dramas. There's usually a bit of genre news and a whole lot of fun. We're talking music, movies, pop culture, video games, everything you could think of. And those two sections,
Uh-huh.
the beginning, which is the creepy spooky,
Okay.
and the second part, which is the awesome TV watchy,
Oh, watchy.
and movie watchy, and
Okay.
video game play. But to be fair, those two things come together to join the ultimate Fig Newton snack known as Earthling Entertainment. Enjoy.
I hope you guys do. We got a great show prepared for you today. If you're a new listener, welcome. If we met you at the convention once again, hello. And maybe if someone at the convention suggested us to you, welcome indeed.
Absolutely. And so Ryan and I, this is the first time we've recorded a show in about a month. The last 5 episodes we recorded were actually pre-recorded because I just had a kid.
He did.
Yeah, about 4 weeks ago, I had my second son. His name is Quantum, Quinn for short. Very cool little child. But in preparation for the convention, we decided that we wanted to keep it rolling with some pre-recorded episodes, which is why we had a lot of games, a lot of quiz shows, a lot of fun stuff. But now we're back to our normal format, and we couldn't be more excited.
I was about to say, I'm very happy. It was a lot of work, but man, it was.
We were recording like 2 episodes a day for a month.
It was a lot, but you know what? It was a trial of passion because
Mhm.
we love this, and this is. We hope you guys do too.
Absolutely. But now we have a little bit more topical news later on in the show. But before that, Ryan and I wanted to tell you a little bit about our trip to Farmingdale, New Jersey. We were guests at the 3rd annual Cryptid and Paranormal Conference.
We met a ton of people. By the end of the day, my voice was hoarse.
And that's coming from a metal singer, guys.
I'm not kidding. Like it was like I was actually like. It was hilarious. I was like looking at the time, like, okay, 2 more hours.
I can power through. I can make it.
And like
But-
you sit down and then someone walks up. It's like, hi.
Yeah. Suddenly I'm back on. All right, guys. So our adventure started where I bought my tickets from Delta because I needed to check 2 big check bags. And since I already have a Delta credit card, your bags are free, blah, 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 blah. But all of our merch came into 2 check bags. But Ryan was going on a different airline. So we actually didn't fly together, even though we were leaving from the same airport.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I landed about 3 hours before him and just kind of hung out in baggage claim and, had some coffee, and then eventually made my way to the Enterprise, which was great. And then I literally just sat in the car because I had to wait for him to come to get him as a second driver.
Well, my gorgeous girlfriend is a flight attendant for Spirit Airlines, so I was able to kind of tag along on some benefits, and I had a pleasant ride. It was literally a full Airbus. I took the last seat, which is wild. So I barely got on.
But because I had to bring the merch, obviously I couldn't partake. I would have been able to otherwise if we weren't bringing anything. But we actually got these great tote bags. We got some keychains or bottle openers, the stickers.
Yep, the
and
stickers and the frisbees, which we called flying saucers.
naturally with our logo on them. Very, very good stuff, man. High quality, I gotta say. But so that's what happened. Then Ryan shows up at the Enterprise, and we decide we're gonna drive to Farmingdale, New Jersey from LaGuardia Airport. After the fact, a bunch of people told us that we should have flew into Philly.
Yeah, I
Apparently,
guess.
it's about the same amount of drive, but it's nicer.
Yeah, it's like less traffic
Yeah,
than,
yeah.
driving south from New York.
Totally. Well, we just didn't want to go to Newark. Like all the news, everybody's saying, don't go to Newark if you could help it.
Yeah, we weren't sure if a UFO was gonna stop or delay the traffic of the air, so we
Yeah,
decided to go
yes,
with LaGuardia.
That's the problem.
So I'm driving, and I've never driven in New York City before. So I'm driving now, and I miss one turn that I'm guessing was gonna take us on the interstate, and my GPS, or GPS as I call it, goes ahead and reroutes us, and it says, "Oh, it's gonna be the same time." So I'm like, "Oh, there you go, no harm, no foul."
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Takes us right into the heart of New York City, the Big Apple, with all the stoplights and bumper to bumper traffic and honking horns that you could ever hope for.
It was amazing. So
It-
here we are. We find ourselves in the middle of Manhattan. We just drive by. Oh, look, it's Broadway.
Yep, that was cool. Because once we realized like the situation we were in, I'm just like, well, I mean, and you're like, well, I've never been to New York City. I'm like, well, you are now. And I looked up, I'm like, oh, look, Broadway.
Yeah, you might as well enjoy it because you're not like the amount of time it would take you to like retrace your steps and get out of that situation. You might as well just power through. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I tell myself.
That's pretty much what we did, and we ended up taking the tunnel. And
Well,
we're like,
hold
oh,
on though. That we were driving through Manhattan for like an hour, like
Oh, for
extra hour.
oh,
like
for real.
this hour and 20-minute drive to Farmingdale ended up being what, 3.5 hours when all is said and done.
when all was said and done, yes, sir. Yes, sir, Bob. And it was, we enjoyed it. We got to take in the sights. It was really cool. And I'm like, oh, it's okay, Joe. Once we get out of the tunnel, we'll be good. The traffic will be good. It
No.
was not.
No, it's not. The whole way was kind of stop and go red. Someone at the convention, when we talked to him later, said that basically going south on a Friday is just not a good idea if you
don't-
could help it.
Unless you're totally cool with just hanging out bumper to bumper and you don't really care about getting to your destination, it's great.
It is great. So we get to the hotel probably around 4, check in, all that normal stuff. We decide to grab a bite to eat. Do you remember where we went?
I don't remember, but it was
It's like Tommy's or Timmy's pub or
I
something.
think it was
like that.
Tommy's, and
Yeah.
it was really good. Like really good food. A great bunch of beers on tap. I truly enjoyed it. The IPAs that are made in that area were delicious.
Oh yeah, they do have some good microbrews. And then we had weird nachos that had pulled pork and barbecue sauce, which I guess is a thing, and it's probably not weird for most people. But I had never seen that before and thought they were quite delicious.
I enjoyed the heck out of them. Honestly, I barely even touched my burger because I was eating all the nachos. So I had some nice leftovers. So
So I realize most of our listeners here are like, oh great, we're hearing about their meals. So why don't we fast forward? When we get to the convention around 7 a.m., we get there and the owner hadn't showed up yet, so everyone was like at a scramble to set up as soon as we could because we had like basically 2 hours before the whole thing opened. Luckily, when we got our space and we were able to unload, it was pretty quick because we had a tablecloth and the said merch and a nice spinny wheel.
yeah, and everybody there was just so super supportive and helpful. Like everyone was lending a hand with everybody, getting everything set up. It was
That's true. Even me and Ryan helped put up a projector screen for some of the speakers.
we did the best we could.
Okay, the projector screen was quite tall and bigger height-wise than the stage when you got right down to it. So
I'm call myself a hobbit. I'm 5'5" and I could touch the ceiling. So that means it was rather short.
well, to be fair, the venue is it's called Our House Restaurant and basically it was made in the 1700s. Like George Washington was there. So
Right.
so you could imagine it's very cool, and it's got a lot of segmented ballrooms and other very, interesting architecture. But there are points where it's just like, oh, low ceiling.
Yep.
And
Yep.
the stage bar area was a low ceiling point.
And yes, like you said, it was called Our House. Don't mix that up with Their House. It was Our House.
Yeah, I always said that I want to now make a new building and put it across the street and call it Their House, and just come out with my cup of coffee and just leer at them every morning like the two managers. Dun dun.
Yeah, I'll get a job for Our House, and I'll just stand over there and smile. So you could be like the grimacing one, and I'll stand there with a tea, and I'll just be like, "Good morning."
Oh, there you go. So the conference was actually a lot of fun. It was from 9 to 4. We met a lot of great people. Our neighbors were really cool. I know there's this ghost tours. There's the girl across from us, and a lovely woman. We had a big old chat with her. And I wish we could have stayed there a little longer and do her ghost tours.
I agree. Freehold Ghost Tours. The historic town of Freehold, New Jersey is full of dark history and ghost stories. For details and tickets, visit freeholdghosttours.com.
And that's a free plug for you, Freehold Ghost Tours. No, great. A lot of nice people. And you know what's funny is everyone we talked to, they were all local. And Ryan and I traveled from Detroit, and it dawned on us that we were the only one who traveled. And
We truly were.
And it was funny because I'm like, why do you think, we were reached out to come? And I realized it's because, I post our episodes every week on many, many groups. And one of them was a Jersey Devil group. So that's how Jersey found out about us and how we got invited. We were invited by a guy named Michael, very nice guy, and couldn't be more happy. But it was funny because he didn't even know that we were traveling out of state at first.
Right.
Yeah. So once he found out, it was like, oh, wow. Okay, well, we'll make sure you guys have a nice table and a good spot. And
Oh yeah, and they even provided chairs, but we didn't need them because we were up front, like right in front of like a windowsill.
yeah,
Like a nice little
ledge to sit on.
Yeah, it was really nice, and we had like the lighting and everything, and it was quite lovely.
It was. Well, I said the building was kind of segmented in different parts. So the main ballroom was kind of, let's say, the main vendor area.
Yeah.
And the back where the stage is where the conference, where the actual speakers were.
Right.
And then we were in like, I don't know, a foyer. We were in a big room connected to the big room, right next to the front doors.
I like that foyer.
Yeah. And it was where I Heart Horror was, and where they were selling the official merch for the show. So we had a very nice prominent spot. We just had kind of like our back to where the people would enter. So if once they're leaving, they have a perfect view of us, and we flagged them down. But those entering kind of passed us. And one other problem was that it was a bit hot.
It was a little warm.
It was a little warm.
The humidity index was about 1,000.
But that had nothing to do with anyone in charge. What happens when you're next to a door?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? No, it was handled very well, and I loved that because I overheard as I was on one of my vaping expeditions outside that if you didn't have a ticket, you were still welcome to walk around and shop if you'd like, see all of the vendors, like Joe said, in the foyer, in the ballroom area, and even outside. They had a giant tent with like 12 or more.
Yeah, there was more vendors, like you said, about the same size as the ballroom. So there was 3 points, and one of them definitely didn't have air conditioning. One of them did, and then we were the middle, where we had air conditioning, but we were right next to the door.
But let me tell you, the beers were reasonably priced.
Yeah,
Not gonna lie.
what was it? $3 domestic, $5 import.
Yeah, and honestly, we had a great time. We really enjoyed that.
From all, from all the time I spent in LA, it was like I'm used to like, how much is the beer? $16. Oh, okay. Well, that's a great price.
Well, why not?
Why not?
But yeah, no, we met so many different people. One really cool one that we met was Team I Heart Horror.
Yeah, I mentioned them a little bit earlier, but those 2 guys are great, and they're a nonprofit. Everything they do goes to charity.
It does. So that's at ihearthorror.net.
Ooh,
Check them out.
Check them out.
It says we represent the heart in the horror community. Friends of Deborah Hart and Lung Center.
Oh, nice. Oh, that makes sense. That the iHeart. Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm on board now.
I like that a
Not
lot.
that I wasn't before. I wanted to say a little bit about our merch. Now, we were giving away merch via prize wheel. So because we're a podcast and we weren't trying to like sell t-shirts and things like that. We were just like,
No.
let's get the word out there. So what we'd have people do is when they approached our table, we told them that if they downloaded an episode on Spotify, iHeart, wherever you get your podcasts, if you download an episode, you could spin the prize wheel. And, we had 4 slots for stickers, 3 for the tote bag, 3 for the Frisbee, 3 for the keychain, and 1 for everything.
And you'd be surprised how many people got everything. And honestly, that's what I was hoping for. I'm like, dude, we brought this stuff for a reason. Take it.
It's true. And on average, you're right. I mean, we had I don't know, maybe 10%. I mean, it was considering there was 1 slot, I was kind of impressed. And then the social media people for our house, then that guy who spun it, he got everything. And I'm like, good publicity.
It
Good.
was. It
Yeah.
was really cool. And Something Creative NYC showed up and they were filming. And I brought my Din Djarin Mandalorian helmet, of
All right,
course.
to be clear, Something Creative NYC, what they are is they are a Twitter channel and a YouTube channel, and they're kind of what I understand is news, but like more genre pop culture fun news, like, right? Am I
Well,
correct?
from what he was saying is they kind of started out trying to do the TikTok thing, doing like street interviews and such like that. But they really wanted to dive more into serious journalism now.
Sure, yeah.
That was part of their adventure was kind of just exploring the cryptid community. And that was exciting. And he even did like a report wearing my Mandalorian helmet, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just
No,
wanted to be
not at
clear
all.
as to what they were because they were so nice and they talked to us. We did an interview. I wanted to make sure that we gave them a good shout out.
And one of our neighbor to the left, she was crocheting like the coolest stuff, like goats that were in the style of it. Or she had what was the clown? Art the Clown.
She had Art the Clown. She had Cthulhu. A lot of good stuff. So yeah, she would crochet these little creatures. Do you know?
And that's the thing is that I wanted to bring it up, even though I don't remember her company name. So once I do have that, we will plug that on next week's episode. I'm going to do some research and find that. But I wanted to make sure, and because we talked a lot, so I'm sure she's going to listen today. Thank you so much. You were a great neighbor. She had to listen to us do our spiel over and over again, and she couldn't have been nicer.
Yeah, Ryan and I have a bit of a background where we were taught to project and to be like theatrical, and we literally were like, people would walk in and be like, "Hello, have you checked out our table? This is perhaps the greatest table there ever was.
A few
I
people-
gave it a backstory. Its name is Tim. It grew up in the small town of Hampshire." Like, whatever it takes, man.
A few people were like,
Yeah, I did come off a bit strong once or twice. I was like, "Hi," and they're like, "Jesus Christ." I give an old man a heart attack once or twice. That's another thing. Everyone who came was so nice and so cool, but there were some people where we just had to settle for, well, thanks for checking us out. Yeah, you could spin the wheel because they didn't download any episodes. They didn't have a Facebook even, some people.
I was going to say, yeah.
That makes sense, though. If you think about people who get the truth twitch and stuff, they're
And
it's
I mean,
off the grid.
And you know what I mean? Those kind of people tend to be in the kind of stuff that we talk about.
Exactly.
And that's why we were trying to be cool about it, just being like, hey, because a lot of people are like, I don't subscribe to, Spotify. A lot of people don't like it or this and that. We were just like, a follow on our social media will give you a spin. And a lot of people did that as well. But like Joe said, some of them didn't even have that. So we're like, spin the wheel. Or
Yeah.
by the end, we were just like, take a bag.
Take it back. Well, the thing is, I went with 2 giant check bags, and by the end of it, I wanted to come back with 1. That was the goal, to stuff one bag in the other bag. A little bit of a bagception, if you will. But it was an important task. So yeah. And it's funny because you're at a convention, and you're at the vendor area. So people are buying things. So naturally everyone wanted the bag, which makes sense. Fun little thing is the bags we got a little bit of money off because the bags were a misprint. I didn't notice till later. The headphones on the bags are purple and the rest of the logo, the headphones are green.
Oh, they're garbage.
No, they're not garbage. You know what they are,
I'm kidding.
Ryan? You know what they are? Limited edition.
That's right. And
Yeah.
they were actually really good quality tote bags, like something you'd bring to Aldi.
Oh, there you go. Well, I know New Jersey, they don't do plastic bags at grocery stores anymore. So we set them up, man. Our logo is going to be out there because everyone who grabbed the bag, everyone's going to use them for grocery shop because they, like you said,
I
they're
would.
quality.
Yeah, they're great quality, dude.
One thing I was a little bit surprised about is not as many people were stoked about the Frisbees as I thought they would be. And I love the Frisbees and I fought for the Frisbees.
He
and,
did.
And Ryan was like, I don't think anyone will care.
Well, and that's why I fought for the keychain. And what's funny is a lot of people picked it up. They're like, oh, it's a bottle opener.
Well, hot damn.
And so I'm going to go ahead and toot my own horn on that. People like that one.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. Also, that was an interesting thing because we ordered the green ones and they had the Earthling Entertainment, just the text. And I felt as though it was a little crowded. So when we did the black ones, we had designed it where it was more legible and it had a little spaceship. So I thought for sure everybody was going to go for the black ones. And
Nope.
no, the green metal ones.
I
that
think
was the
I
thing.
saw 2 people choose the black one.
Yeah.
And well, everyone just loves that green metal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's something about the green metal that just screams, cryptids and paranormal and UFOs.
UFOs. It was a lot of fun. We met some people that are going to be on the show, so I don't want to give away that because obviously we have to still work out the finer details. And I don't promise before I know I can deliver, darn it. But some really fun guests coming up in future episodes, buddy.
Oh, dude, yeah. We're hoping that Dr. Mayer can join us. She was very pleasant. We gave her a little bit of everything of our stuff, and she was really nice to talk to. And we're gonna see if we can get her on. That would be so cool.
Absolutely. Was there anything else you wanted to add? I mean, it was a great show. After the show ended at 4, we packed up. We said our goodbyes. Everyone was really nice. When we came back to the place 2 hours later because they had an after party, I thought like our day was over. But little did I know our day had just begun because we were there for 6 more hours.
Honestly, the music of New Jersey blew me away. Like all of these, there was a dude with an electric ukulele.
Yeah, he did nail it.
It
He
was
did, yeah.
awesome. And they did like a bunch of cover songs and stuff like that. And there was a Doors cover band that played. And of course, Mike, who ran the place, he had his band playing. And let me tell you, they rocked the house. It was really cool. It was a really good time. And the staff, the bar staff was excellent. The beers were delicious. And looks like we have.
So that is the ukulele. That is the electric
Oh.
ukulele band.
Oh, okay, yeah. Springwood's Electric Luau.
Ooh, yeah.
Honestly, check them out. They were so good, and everybody was so friendly and welcoming. So it's like not only is the cryptid community of New Jersey awesome, but the music community of New Jersey is awesome. Honestly, it blew me away. I was not that I was expecting it to suck, but it was awesome,
Yeah, no, it was great. And it's just anytime you go to a convention, and I don't care what the convention is, if you're a redheaded person and you go to that redheaded convention, I bet you'd feel the same way. But it's like-minded people because at a cryptid convention, while there might be 1 or 2 people who go to like scoff or whatever, most people are there because they genuinely believe, like it, or enjoy the atmosphere. Everyone's nice. And comic book conventions, I've spoke of it before, PantheaCon, which I don't know if it still exists, but that was a pagan convention. You have never seen more drum circles in your life than you have at a pagan convention, let me tell you. If we kind of went enough down that road, maybe we try to do that convention at some point, because it was a good size one for us.
I would like to do a horror con. You ever been to one of those? What was Motor City Nightmares, I think, was one of them?
Yes. So I did hit up the woman who runs Motor City Nightmares, and I'm not going to lie, I will never do her show ever. She was the rudest person I had ever talked to in my entire life.
There we go.
I hit her up and said, hey, we'd like to be involved, and I was just kind of just doing like an opening thing, and her response was, well, how could that help us? What are you going to do for me? And I'm like, well...
Don't sell us short, lady.
Right off the bat, I never said I want to do. I wasn't asking you for anything for free. I was just seeing like what was the atmosphere? Would you be interested in blah 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 blah? And it was just such a snippy conversation. Yeah,
I would have gone ham. Like we're so good, we're scary.
Yeah, you know what? I don't want to talk more about it because I'm not trying to just sit here and disparage.
Enough.
But
fair enough.
To be clear, Motor City Nightmares is a wonderful show, and I've had a lot of fun there in the past, and I am not disparaging the show at all. I don't know if I'd want to have a conversation with the woman running it. Beyond that, great show.
I met Sid Haig there. I met, oh my gosh, why is his name escape me? The singer of Twisted Sister, Dee Snider. And he complimented my tattoo mid-sentence. He was saying something, and then he just looks over and goes, oh man, I gotta tell you, that looks awesome. And the one he was talking about is I have a tattoo of Frankenstein's monster on my left arm, and he loved it. And I was just like, Dee Snider complimented my tattoo.
So yeah, guys, we got everything we wanted out of that. We met some fans, we spread the word, and we're probably going to try to do a couple more shows coming up. It's a little late in the year for us to get into the whole day weekend ones, but if we got like another 1-day show, paranormal, like Paracon or something like that. But yeah, so we'll be out again. You'll be able to see us if you missed us on this one. But I think with that, Ryan, unless there's anything else you'd like to add, we can jump right into spooky stuff.
Let's do what we are good at, sir. This is what the people come for, sir.
That's right. So enjoy the actual start of the show on this week's Spooky.
Hold up. before we start, I wanted to say, if you go to cryptidsparanormalproductions.com, they have all of the vendors there, and they have it set up that when you go down and you click their image, it takes you to their website. So the girl that did the crochet next to us, I couldn't remember her business. It was called Gothic Gossamers. And when I click her image, it brings me to gothicgossamers.myshopify.com, where you can purchase all of these awesome things. She's got some cool ones here, like eyeballs.
I see a crochet voodoo doll there.
One of my favorite ones was the affirmative aberration, which is a little ghost that's holding up a sign that is affirmative, like, I believe in you. And she said that she
that's
had
pretty clever.
Yeah, she said she had a thing across from the ghost hunters, and she was like, you believe in ghosts? They believe in you too. And she put it on the table.
Well done. Well done. She coined a phrase we might be using for, what she said, para-nerds, right?
That's right. Yeah, she called us para-nerds. And I'm like, that works on a couple levels, because we are a pair of nerds.
That's right. Why, my dear, I do believe I'm going to steal that.
That's right. Like a brain in a jar. She even had a brain in a jar. I love this stuff. Dude, she had great work.
She definitely did. So I think we've successfully plugged all our neighbors, right? Is there anyone else you wanted to do a shout out for?
Oh my gosh, there's honestly, if I were to keep going, we could be doing this all day. So make sure you go to cryptidsparanormalproductions.com.
That's right. And are we ready now?
Okay, now we're ready.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoy this week's spooky stuff.
The Congolese giant spider. The J'ba FoFi, also known as the Congolese giant spiders, are a type of large arachnid cryptid that is said to inhabit the forests of the Congo, possibly representing a new species of arachnid.
Oh, great. I never wanted to sleep again. That's fine.
Yeah, that's good.
You think bed bugs are bad? What about bugs as big as your bed?
Most of the many anecdotal tales describe the spiders digging a shallow tunnel under tree roots and camouflaging it with a large screen of leaves. They then create an almost invisible web between their burrow and a nearby tree, stringing the whole area with a network of trip lines. Some oblivious animal or human being.
Probably human being. I hardly notice, if you have a straight up 2x4 on the floor, I might trip on it. So an invisible spider web, I'm pretty screwed, Ryan.
So that's likely soon to end up on the creature's menu. They will trip on the line, alerting the spider. The victim will then be chased into the web. Ah! I don't know why but that's the worst part to me, is that this thing, it's like I'm not gonna try to I'm gonna just chase it ah!
Yeah, well, imagine you run and you fall into that pit of spikes, man. I mean, that's kind of a horrible way to go, right? Because as soon as you get caught in a spider's web, especially if you're running from a spider, you get it. You know you're screwed.
Oh, dude, I'm just reminded of Frodo in the web. How terrifying.
That's all right. I'd be all right. I have my Sam. What up, Ganji?
That's right. That's me. My middle name is Sam. This type of predatory behavior is similar to that of several species of trapdoor spider. Natives claim the J'ba FoFi eggs are a pale yellow-white and shaped like peanuts.
But don't eat them.
Don't eat them.
Yeah, they're spiders in the brain.
Little extra, a little extra protein, I guess, right? Crunchy crunch.
Yeah, I don't know. I know a lot of countries in the world eat bugs, and it's kind of just a normal part of their menu. Just because where I grew up, I can't wrap my head around eating bugs. Even Southern people are here's this, fried cricket. I'm good.
They say a handful of cricket is a ton of good protein.
I bet it is. And if I'm starving, I will definitely eat them. But I need to have no other options.
Maybe skewer them and roast them a bit over a fire?
It reminds me of all those people Bear Grylls are going to go in there and Survivor Man. Or even the reality shows where it's Naked and Afraid.
Oh, man.
I don't want to be naked in the Congo where there's giant spiders. Just saying.
Yeah, I remember the one episode where he was in the desert and he killed a desert spider, and after he killed it, its abdomen or butt thing, whatever, was all squishy and gooey, and he bit into it and it was bleh. But I mean, if you're starving, right? So
yes. In the Congo though, spiders eat you.
So back to the J'ba FoFi's offspring. The hatchlings are bright yellow with a purple abdomen.
Hmm.
Their coloration becomes darker and brown as they mature. Some of the peoples indigenous to the regions in the Congo where the J'ba FoFi had been seen assert that the spider was once quite common, but has now become quite rare, which is a good thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on the ecosystem. For all we know, those giant spiders are in there like keeping something else at bay. You know what I mean? What if they're killing all this? I don't know. There's some crazy new lion that it's to eat humans or something, and they're just trapping all of them. And then the spiders go away, and now we're overrun by man-eating lions.
Or even worse,
Like,
like
clearly, I don't know what animals are in the Congo, but you get what I mean.
giant mosquitoes. Because, right, spiders eat mosquitoes. So maybe the giant spiders are keeping out giant mosquitoes, like the ones from Jumanji.
Giant mosquitoes. You know what? Is that what you think of when you think of giant mosquitoes?
Yes.
Okay, for me, I'm thinking there actually was an early 90s movie. I think it was 92, 93. Could have been 94 or 5. Doesn't matter. The point is, it was called Mosquito. And it had giant mosquitoes, but it was a B movie, and it was kind of like a hokey, almost horror comedy. But as a child, I didn't see it that way, and it scared me so much. In particular, there's this scene where a guy is at a campground and he goes into an outhouse and he goes and sits down in the outhouse, about to do his business. And he looks up and there's just this giant mosquito.
Oh my God.
Yeah, about the size of like, I don't know, like a cat or something, like huge, right? Like, or a hawk. It'll give you an idea. And it's up there and it's just like, twitching its head, looking at him. And, and
Dude, you're giving me goosebumps.
of course, they fly down, they stab into your chest, and it's like gory and horrifying. And then they suck you dry to like where you're all like skinny, like from the Mummy, man.
Yeah.
And that movie effed me up. I watched it recently. It is the goofiest, fakest looking movie I've ever seen. Still good, but only for nostalgia, I think.
Only slightly traumatizing for a child.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, back to the Hooba Juba. What is it called?
J'ba FoFi.
Okay, I was close.
You were really close, buddy.
All right, the giant Congo trapdoor spider.
The fullest account by Westerners appears in a cryptozoological book by George Eberhardt. I believe we've mentioned him before.
We have.
On page 204, Eberhardt relates the terrifying experience of an English couple traveling through a region of the jungle in what is now called the Congo. This is a quote, R.K. Lloyd and his wife were motoring in the Belgian Congo in 1938 when they saw a large object crossing the trail in front of them. At first, they thought it was a cat or a monkey, but they soon realized it was a spider with legs nearly 3 feet long.
Oh, snap!
Don't want to see that.
No. I mean, to be fair, you don't want to see a spider the size of, like, I don't know, a mouse, let alone 3 legs 3 feet long.
Agreed.
Rough day at the office.
Cryptozoologist William J. Gibbons has hunted for what some think may be a living Congolese dinosaur called Mokele Membe. On his third expedition in search of the creature, he came upon natives who related their experiences with giant spiders. He shared his experience with readers upon his return to Canada. Quote, on this third expedition to Equatorial Africa, I took the opportunity to inquire if the Pygmies knew of such a giant spider, and indeed they did. They speak of the J'ba FoFi, which is a giant or great spider. They describe a spider that is generally brown in color with purple marks on the abdomen. They grow to quite an enormous size with a leg span of at least 5 feet.
Yeah, I'm good.
So they must have encountered, like, the other couple probably encountered, like, maybe an adolescent. They grow to quite an enormous size. The giant arachnids weave together a lair made of leaves, similar in shape to a traditional pygmy hut. Ooh, like mimicry.
Okay, see, that is scary. Like in the movie Mimic, when the giant cockroaches started, like, looking like people.
Yes.
Yeah. It seems like it would be an adaptation that any creature that was feeding on humans would eventually make. It's just ways to trick us.
That's right. And spin a circular web said to be very strong between 2 trees with a strand stretched across a game trail. These giant ground-dwelling spiders prey on the diminutive forest, antelope, birds, and other small game, and are said to be extremely dangerous, not to mention highly venomous, Gibbons states.
I mean, a spider that size has got to be the head of the food chain, right? Like,
Oh,
I don't
hands
know.
down.
And maybe the silver monkeys from the Congo movie that hide the diamond mines, maybe they would be able to defeat.
Ugly gorilla, ugly, go away.
But I'm pretty sure they don't exist.
I hope so.
Yes, yes. Maybe, oh man, yeah. Bruce Campbell was in that movie. All right,
He
continue.
was.
Yeah.
The spiders are said to lay white peanut-sized eggs in a cluster, and the pygmies give them a wide berth when encountered, but have killed them in the past. The giant spiders were once a very common, but are now a rare sight. So that's the end of that quote. In March 2013, a video surfaced on YouTube of an alleged J'ba FoFi caught on a night vision camera near a waterhole next to a tree in Mozambique. And I did see that video, and honestly, it looked very, very, because it like, you see it kind of like scurry up and just like stop. And then it just scurries off. It's off to the very, very right. And we'll share it on our social media.
Yeah, but this video it's like very blue. It's like night visiony, and the thing you could see you could barely make out. And while it does resemble a spider crawling up and crawling away, I don't know, man. It's so vague to me. It made you a believer though, right?
It
so a
really
lot of
did.
people are on the fence, to be honest. They go both ways. Giggity.
Yeah. The J'ba FoFi appears out of the darkness for a brief moment while scurrying into the darkness on the far right side of the screen. So keep your eyes to the right if you were to watch that video. Many of the natives describe the spiders as once being numerous, but now vanishing.
That is the third time that we said that they were numerous and then slowly disappeared.
I mean, I guess at least they're all happy about it.
I think it's funny because so many people have quoted, like, said that. It's like, we're not repeating information here, people. These are quotes that everyone is saying.
Yes.
So I guess if you were worried about giant spiders, now is the best time as there's ever been.
They're probably telling you, like, it's okay. It's okay. Chances are minimal that you'll be eaten alive.
Yeah, just say it.
Encroachment by civilization in the form of rainforest being converted to farming land may have driven the spiders from their natural habitat. J'ba FoFi is thought to be the subject of only one piece of serious scientific research done by Shibanjan Paul Roy, a cryptozoologist from Racecourse Para, Jalpaiguri, India, which was
I gotta
published.
say, you're getting pretty good at, like, reading these names.
Thank you. Thank you.
These unfamiliar names, you're getting your skills. They're improving, sir.
That's right.
I say now you're at level 8. You've graduated from level 7.
Getting the chops. You got to work for the chops to have the chops. Which was published in the International Journal of Enhanced Research in Science, Technology, and Engineering, a UGC-approved journal, ISSN 2319-7463, Volume 13, Issue 6, June 2024. Impact Factor 8.375. Topic name: Evaluation and Identification of J'ba FoFi, the giant spider of the Congo, and Mokele Membe in the Congo rainforest. And actually, I did find that you can find it with an easy Google search of the J'ba FoFi. He is the first serious scientist who has done this research into J'ba FoFi and made it available in an approved journal. 7 storybooks had previously mentioned J'ba FoFi, and 1 game. I couldn't find whether this is a video game or like a board game.
Yeah.
But this is the first.
I kind of hope it's a board game.
Me too. But this is the first time serious scientific research has been done by Shibanjan Paul Roy. The tracheal respiratory system of arachnids, which cannot transport oxygen throughout such a large organism, would prevent a normal spider from reaching such sizes in modern times. Because as we know, there used to be way more oxygen in our atmosphere, in our air, and that was why back in prehistoric times, there was much larger insects and everything like that.
Yeah, there was like 7 or 8 mass extinctions. Well, one of those mass extinctions were giant trees and giant bugs.
Yes. Leading cryptozoologists to believe that if a giant spider does thrive in some secluded, far-off habitat, it must have evolved a radically different and much more advanced respiratory system, not just a greatly enlarged body.
I was just going to say, insects have a lot of things that are, compared to us, better. They just work better. They have different senses. Obviously we don't want to be insects. That would be gross. But, nature...
Speak for yourself.
Nature has better designs as far as survival is concerned than the human body, is all I have to say.
That makes sense. One precedent for such a respiratory system is the coconut crab, which can attain a leg span of 3 feet and which has evolved a bronchiostegal lung, which allows it to live on the land despite its size. Another theory is that giant spiders, such as the J'ba FoFi, are in fact giant terrestrial crustaceans similar to these coconut crabs, but this is only a theory.
That would make sense. I mean, they say crabs and lobsters are basically spiders.
Right,
They
right.
basically are. Like, I mean, you got everybody who loves crab legs and you think you fancy eating your lobster tail, enjoy them spiders.
That's right. Then they say roly-polies are crustaceans.
They do. I love that. I found, for some reason, that one I find amazing and endearing. I don't know why.
Me either.
But does it matter if it's a giant crab or a spider? If it's giant and 8 legs and going to eat you?
No, it does not matter to me, Joe. The eaten does not care.
If I can go my whole life and never be eaten alive or have any part of me devoured by another person or a creature, I'll call it a win, Ryan.
I'll never wear a life jacket again. So,
Wait, what was that referencing?
Jaws.
That was referencing Jaws?
Yeah.
When did the captain's guy say that? When
It
he
was
was
when he-
telling the story about all the sharks eating his friends?
You were on the USS Indianapolis? German submarine slammed 2 torpedoes into our side, Chief.
You know what? For me being the movie guy, you sure have that one memorized.
I've only seen that movie a billion times. That was I found the VHS when I was much too young.
Oh. Well, may I recommend a movie since we're talking about a giant spider?
Yeah.
Lavalantula.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, silly B movie for sure, but we're talking about just entertainment. Oh, it's a good one.
8-Legged Freaks. Definitely my favorite.
Eight-Legged Freaks is like the biggest budgeted like sci-fi channel original movie ever made.
And it was still kind of and they were still silly. Like even like when they were hitting the spiders, they were like, "Wow, wow, 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 wow."
Yeah, I liked it.
Me
You know,
too.
Scarlett Johansson was in that one.
Oh my gosh, you're right. She was the daughter.
She was the daughter.
Wow, I didn't make that tie in until you just said it, and it just snapped right in. I'm like, oh my god, it was her.
Yep.
So, if you find yourself in the Congo, watch where you step. It doesn't take arachnophobia to be afraid of a highly venomous giant spider that sees you as its next meal.
Maybe it's a crab.
Could be a crab. Snippity, snippity, snip.
Does it matter when you're getting your legs eaten?
Yes, I pinch. Maybe little pinch.
Little pinch.
Maybe little pinch.
So yeah, we've this was a great cryptid Ryan found. We went with this because we actually haven't covered that many spider cryptids. I think there was a Japanese woman demon
Yes.
who was really a spider.
Yeah, it was like a ghost. I forget what they're called. They have a name for their kind of ghosts.
We do so many of these episodes.
Oh my
man.
gosh.
But I think that one was called Horny for Spiders.
I think it was,
That
Joe.
was the episode, yes.
Oh my gosh, good
So,
memory.
If you guys like arachnids, then you want to
Yokai.
hear
Yokai, that's what they call them. Sorry, it just came to me. Japanese ghosts are called yokai.
fair enough. But guys, what did you think? Do you have a suggestion for a cryptid or a haunting? Because we don't just do cryptids, we like to do other things too. So if there's a haunting, a legend, a myth, anything, or another cryptid, that's fine too. You could email us your suggestion at earthlingentertainmentpodcast@gmail.com or message us on Instagram or Facebook. And who knows, maybe you'll see your suggestion on an upcoming episode of Earthling Entertainment.
And the best way to suggest a good one for us is to download every single episode and to listen right from the start.
That way you know which ones we've already covered and is not secretly a ploy to get you to download every episode.
Not at all, Joe.
A wink. And just like in every episode, we've reached the awesome aliens section.
Yes, awesome indeed.
If you're a fan of extraterrestrials or conspiracies or any kind of thing like that, this section is for you. So sit back and enjoy this week's
Disclosure discussion. Ha 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 ha. It's about aliens and stuff.
Alleged CIA report on aliens on the moon causes a stir. This is what they looked like. This comes to us from Marca.com. A resurfaced claim suggests the CIA uncovered human-like extraterrestrials on the moon through remote viewing, reigniting debates online. A sensational theory has reemerged online suggesting that the CIA once discovered alien life on the moon. The claim has once again gone viral and drawn attention to one of the internet's most enduring fascinations: extraterrestrial life. The speculation stems from a 1998 account by Ingo Swann, who asserted that he participated in a CIA sponsored remote viewing program that revealed the presence of intelligent human like aliens on the moon. According to Swann, not only did he detect them during his remote viewing sessions, but he also believed these beings could sense they were being observed.
Wow. No, but really, didn't we talk about this guy before? Didn't he do remote viewing for what was happening on Mars?
I don't know if it was him. I thought it was a younger child, but yes, it was a CIA program that was covering remote viewing, and they had him go back in time on Mars when basically these large, tall aliens were kind of cowering in fear from like a storm, basically leading to the end.
Wow. Yeah. So yeah, this isn't a new thing. The government has been doing basically these Stranger Things, Stephen King-esque experiments for a long time, and it's inspired a lot of pop culture. It's inspired a lot of theories, and it's inspired a lot of real life horrific events. So,
Right.
doesn't surprise me. Do you believe in remote viewing? Like, how do you feel about that? Because I believe if you are the individual who is remote viewing, then of course you know what's real and what's not. But how do you trust someone? How do you like hear someone tell you this is what's happening over there, and like they have to be really convincing? I'm just saying, like, that's the thing that blows my mind.
That's a good question. I believe with one account that I had studied before, they would kind of test them. They would give them coordinates of a place that they knew that they knew what the geography, what everything looked like, and they would just be like, remote view to this. And they would describe it and they would be spot on.
I mean, fair enough. That would be a way to test it. Thank you, Ryan. That's all I needed. Nope,
Definitely.
no more questions. Move on.
And I can't help but be like, so they could sense they were being observed. So it's just like an alien in the shower, like, ah!
Get out of here, Craig.
Like,
Trying to use the
pervert!
bathroom.
Remote viewing has become disturbing. This isn't the first time Swann's claims have been circulated, and it isn't the only allegation involving secret CIA knowledge of aliens. The theory is being widely shared again following recent public interest in government transparency about UFOs. Swann's story has gained renewed attention in part because the CIA had previously declassified documents that reference other bizarre extraterrestrial claims. One such file describes aliens being detected not just on the moon, but also on one of Saturn's moons, Mount Hayes in Alaska, and even regions of South America and Africa.
Well, they say in Alaska that they have that buried pyramid, so maybe,
Yeah.
yeah.
Even in Alaska and Antarctica, we've heard stories about this.
Hell, there's pyramids under the ocean. There are pyramids everywhere.
There are. Another
So listen, Egypt, hold your breath. You ain't that special no more.
just because we can actually see yours doesn't make them special.
I'll tell you what, I'm not a step pyramid guy. I'm not. Nope, I like the smooth-edged pyramids.
That's
I thought a lot about this, Ryan, and as far as architecture is concerned, I'm the guy you come to talk to when it comes to pyramids.
Smooth. Another CIA document described a confrontation between Soviet troops and extraterrestrial beings after a UFO was allegedly shot down. I believe we covered that one in the past as well. Though the authenticity and context of these files remain unclear, they continue to inspire speculation and conspiracy theories. The combination of official documents, anecdotal accounts, and growing public interest in the subject keeps the alien narrative alive. For believers, the lack of definitive disproof only adds to the mystery. For skeptics, it's another chapter in the long saga of theories surrounding extraterrestrial life.
Yeah, so this guy, when he remote viewed this, he saw this alien on the moon.
And I've actually got the image right here, and it looks very human-like.
I mean, who's to say it's not a human, right? Like the idea that the governments, whether it's our government or other governments, whatever, the idea that we've colonized and are living in a much more sci-fi world than we realize, and it's just being kept from us. I mean, that's a theory. They do say, when I say they, there are some theorists and conspiracy theorists who believe that there are bases on Mars, on the moon. Like we have maybe not interstellar ships, but at least solar system traveling ships.
And honestly, it was Titan. It says right here, I'm looking
the
at
moon of Saturn.
Yeah, I'm looking. It says Titan base.
That makes sense because Titan is we could go to Titan. It's, relatively
The 20th
good.
of November in 1986 is when he saw that. And then it has right here on Mount Hayes, says South America and Africa, there appears to be 2 different types of extraterrestrial associated with that file.
Huh. An interesting little side note there.
Definitely. So I think that's what I've got for that one, but wait, there's more.
We have another disclosure discussion.
We do.
My God, it's an embarrassment of riches today, folks. Strap in for number 2.
Scientists reveal a new way to track aliens. Earth might not be the only home. This comes to us from dailygalaxy.com. The search for life beyond Earth just got a major upgrade, and it starts with a camel.
Sorry.
I got Joe with that one.
I didn't read that article yet. Sorry, we're still recovering from this weekend. And
Oh my gosh, yeah.
yeah, so I didn't read that article yet. Well, what is it? Starts with a camel?
That's right.
Well, you know what, Ryan? You have my attention.
A groundbreaking study led by University of Arizona astrophysicist and astrobiologist Daniel Apai introduces a fresh perspective on the search for extraterrestrial life. By moving beyond the conventional criteria of water-based habitability, this new model shifts the conversation from general assumptions to species-specific survival scenarios. I like that.
Species-specific survival scenarios.
The-
So it's SSSS.
That's right.
Yes.
The-
We're called Project.
The best acronym ever.
Yes.
The research suggests that alien life could potentially thrive in places much closer than once imagined. Traditionally, scientists have assessed the exoplanet habitability based on Earth-like conditions, especially the presence of liquid water. But Apai's team developed a method that evaluates how specific organisms, rather than life in general, might fare in alien environments. Their approach, termed a quantitative habitability framework.
Wait. So quantitative, you got right, but habitability was
Thank you.
too much for you.
It was. Thank you. You gave me props earlier, and now I'm screwing up. Habitability framework examines factors such as temperature, atmospheric composition, and metabolism requirements rather than focusing solely on water. Rather than ask what life needs in theory, the model reframes the question to, would the conditions in the habitat, as we know them, allow a specific, known or yet unknown, species or ecosystem to survive?
Yeah, so we broadened the idea of what a habitable planet could be. Because it's kind of funny. You watch Star Trek, and every single alien is like a human, but 3 eyes, or a human, but pointy ears. And that idea is just simply wrong. When we find extraterrestrials, if we haven't already, squid people, maybe a gelatinous mold, you know what I mean? Maybe it's a monkey thing, sure. Maybe it has 2 arms, 2 legs, but maybe it's like a spider and has 8.
Right. Maybe it's like a living gas.
Exactly. What if it breathes it breathes? I was trying to think of something crazy. What would kill us?
Nitrogen?
Sure. I think if breathing anything but oxygen would kill us, but I was trying to think of something really, really crazy. What's in a thermometer?
Mercury.
Yeah. What if it breathes liquid mercury?
I mean, that'd be pretty metal. Just saying, that would be pretty metal.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right. The name of your next album, when your band's doing it, we call it Breathing Mercury.
Let's breathe mercury.
That's Metalocalypse for you. I'm sorry. Get back to these aliens.
They had a cake covered in mercury.
I know. That's why I said it.
Yes.
Metalocalypse was a great cartoon. If you guys were interested in old Adult Swim cartoons, I want to tell you that cartoon had an ending. They recently released a movie called Metalocalypse and the Death Star or something like that. But the point is, it's out there. If you were unresolved, You could finish that show.
There's only one thing left to do. Kill ourselves.
I'm talking to like the 1% of people who even know what I'm referring to.
This more nuanced method accounts for the diversity of life even on Earth, highlighting that just as camels can't survive in Antarctica, not all forms of life require the same planetary conditions.
That's a shitty example, but I'm with them.
Yeah, I'm with them. To validate their model, the researchers applied it to TRAPPIST 1e, a well-known Earth-like exoplanet. The results showed that methanogens, one of the planet's earliest microbial life forms, could survive there with a habitat suitability rating of 69%.
69, bro. All jokes aside, so they're saying that in old, like, is this extinct? Like they said, an early kind of microbiome, The point is life could survive, I guess.
Yeah, one of the planet's earliest microbial life forms, methanogens. So they're on
Huh.
meth.
I doubt that's what they're saying, but that's
Oh.
funny. That's funny.
That's what I took as. Anyways, so methanogens are single-celled organisms capable of surviving in extreme oxygen-free environments.
Oh, look, they are on meth.
They're considered prime candidates when hypothesizing about I don't know.
You picked this article. Man.
I did. It's my fault. About alien microbes. The team didn't stop at distant exoplanets. They also analyzed closer celestial bodies such as Mars and our favorite, Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. The surface of Mars, while promising in the past, now offers a habitat suitability of up to 55% for methanogens, while Europa's subsurface oceans scored about 50%. These figures suggest these nearby worlds remain worthy of scientific focus, even if they aren't top contenders. In another test, the model assessed the potential of cyanobacteria, commonly known as blue-green algae, to survive in TRAPPIST-1e-like environments. Results indicated a suitability range from 13% to 80%, depending on environmental variables. A critical next step for Apai and his colleagues is building an extensive database of species that thrive in Earth's most extreme environments. These include insects in the Himalayas and microorganisms in hydrothermal vents deep beneath the oceans. By understanding how life endures such extremes, scientists hope to better assess what kinds of life might persist elsewhere in the cosmos. The model isn't just theoretical exercise. It could serve as a practical tool. If astronomers detect a potential biosignature on a distant planet, Apai says this approach can help assess if the environment where it is detected can actually support the type of life that leads to the signature detected. The model encourages scientists to broaden their thinking instead of limiting searches to Earth-like planets with similar conditions. The framework opens doors to more diverse planetary environments. It invites researchers to consider what life could look under different cosmic circumstances, using Earth's own biological variety as a blueprint.
Wow.
That was a bit of a tongue tire of a article, but hey,
Yeah,
that's what happens when you talk about really smart stuff.
Yeah, well, that's why I kind of like stopped interrupting, but I was hanging on to two thoughts that I wanted to share with you. Okay. So earlier, when we're talking about Europa, I love the idea of Jupiter's moon, Europa, because essentially the outside is ice, the inside is molten lava. So they say the middle is kind of, liquid water. It's kind of the theory.
And they say it erupt like it has like plumes, like geysers. That one of them even hit one of I believe Voyager 1 or 2.
Yeah, it knocked out one of our satellites. But you think about it, a whole ocean planet where it's like not just ocean, but like something like a water in like water in a cave almost, right? Because and I think about the film. Do you remember The Faculty?
I do, but I never saw it, but I know all about it.
Right on. Well, The Faculty was basically a remake of Body Snatchers, but it was its own twist. It came out in the late 90s and it starred Elijah Wood, and it was a great alien movie. But the alien in that film was essentially from a ocean planet. It was an ocean creature. and the characters describing it like, oceans as far as the eye could see and all this other stuff. And I always imagined like it was Europa.
Well,
And
it just screams life, doesn't it? You're
it
talking
does.
about ice on top, water in the middle because it's going to have to be liquid, right? Because like you said, there's volcanic activity at the center.
And the volcanic activity, chemical synthesis, could be why they're like being able to survive and feed off that shit.
Like,
Excuse
yeah,
me.
I just imagine there could just be like giant sea monsters among like not even just microbial life, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And the other point I wanted to make is earlier when I said 69, dude. I know you didn't get the reference.
I did.
You did? What is it?
What number am I thinking of? 69.
All right, all right. So
dudes.
I'm just saying that was a Bill and Ted reference, and
I
you
caught
did
it.
not give me enough credit. And quite frankly, Ryan, I just as a fellow podcaster, I feel like you owe it to me to
Hey,
acknowledge
man.
my awesome Bill and Ted.
These suits are heavy. Yeah, heavy metal.
Excellent.
I always wish I had that power to just do air guitar and it actually made the sound.
Nice.
Just saying.
Just saying. So, guys, did you like those disclosure discussion? Just like spooky stuff, if there is something you would like to suggest, make sure to contact us. In the meantime, I think we're ready for our final segment in the first half of the show. And I know that's kind of a weird way of wording it, but
Yeah.
sometimes things are weird.
You know what, Joe? I'm pretty weird.
You are weird.
You know, what can I say?
You know what else is weird? This next segment.
Real world weird.
Michigan marijuana dispensary offers deal for Bigfoot photo.
And let me tell you, as a Michigander, this tracks.
Definitely. This comes to us from coasttocoastam.com. A recent suspected Sasquatch sighting in Michigan, my hometown.
That's right. Where you're actually staying. Are you going to look for Bigfoot?
I'm always looking for Bigfoot,
Fair
sir.
enough. Have you found any Bigfoot mania happening? Because apparently that's what this article is about. Is the town of Monroe in Michigan responding to this credible Bigfoot sighting that we actually spoke about? Was it last week's episode?
It was Earthlings in Michigan.
It was Earthling. So last week's episode, Earthling in Michigan, we talk about the report of this Bigfoot in Monroe, Michigan, and this is kind of like a follow-up.
That's right. The Bigfoot Researcher Society actually deemed it a credible sighting, too. So, the recent Sasquatch sighting in Michigan has inspired one of the state's cannabis dispensaries to offer a special deal to any customer who can produce a photograph of the elusive cryptid. The late May report of a father and son, possibly, I say definitely, encountering Bigfoot spawned worldwide headlines last month. Since then, the city of Monroe, where I'm at, where the incident occurred, has been buzzing about the community's unexpected moment in the cryptozoological sun. I've heard a lot about it. Longtime resident Bob Vergils marveled to a local TV station. In fact, when I first heard about it, I was in Baltimore, Maryland, and I heard about it there. And I said, oh my gosh, I leave home for a week and look what happened.
I know. How pissed would you be if you were actually like a person who believed in Bigfoot or wanted to know like the truth? It's kind of like if I go traveling and then that's when a mass alien abduction happens.
Well, god damn it.
Don't misunderstand. I don't want to be abducted, but at the same time, it'd
Speak
be like,
for yourself.
I guess it depends on the circumstances.
I
Anyways,
hope they probe.
Jesus Christ. Come on, man. What am I going to do with that? Continue.
What can't you do with that? Let me tell you. Excitement over the possible Bigfoot sighting in Monroe has even extended to a local cannabis dispensary, which responded
To be fair, that is very like credible. Yes.
That tracks.
That makes sense.
That tracks. Oh, man, you hear about Bigfoot, man?
Yeah. What?
Which responded to I love stopping you in your tracks. Which responded to the proverbial Yeti mania by offering customers a free joint if they can manage to snap a photo of the city's resident Sasquatch.
Hold on. Oh, all you're getting is a free joint?
I know, that seems a little
I'll tell you what,
it better be good.
they're honoring like the goofy people who dress up like Bigfoot to like jokingly be in the woods and to get a free joint. That's what this really is, man.
You know that's what's happening.
Because if you're only giving away that, then it's like you're trying to encourage like stoners going out in the woods, be like, oh look, dude, they're there. Look,
Dude-
a Bigfoot,
Dude, you know that's what's happening too. Everybody's gonna want that free joint. So
Oh,
yeah,
man.
there's oh my god.
Hold
I'm
on.
gonna keep my eyes open because there's just gonna be stoners running around in Sasquatch costumes. This is gonna be amazing.
Well, you could always rent a Sasquatch costume. When we did Fuzz Malloy, that web series, we had an episode where a guy was dressed as Sasquatch.
I remember that one.
Surprisingly inexpensive to get a Sasquatch costume because it's one of those things. It's like a Dracula costume. Like everyone has done it.
You know, when is their spawning season? When are Sasquatch in heat? Because we might want to be careful.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
if
You're
they're
in the-
anything like humans, I'd say every day.
Oh, oh no. Okay, people of Monroe, be careful. Just saying. Just saying. Anyways, interestingly, it would appear that the May incident is not the first time that a curious creature has been seen in the community. There once what was called the Monroe Monster years ago, Vergils recalled. Someone saw a big creature out near the Fermi power plant. I've been by there. And so I think it's really funny that this was spotted near where that was. Although they didn't really say where the location was, but it's near where the Monroe Monster was seen way back in the 1960s.
So maybe the Monroe Monster was Bigfoot.
I think so.
I mean, like, isn't that credible?
I agree. Well, I mean, yeah, and it was.
How what was the Monroe Monster? How was it described?
I believe it was. Yeah, it was described like a Bigfoot. It was a big, hairy, ape-like creature, and
Well, then there you go.
I believe it was a woman in her car, and it basically like reached in at her.
Well, that's creepy.
Oh yeah, scared the crap out of her, and she was petrified. And like people who have lived in Monroe a long time remember it well. I've talked to a few residents about it.
Huh. Well, you know what? With all this Bigfoot talk, and because we went to the conference this weekend, do you know the guy who run it, the nice gentleman Michael? He asked, what guests do you want in the next next year's show? And you said the actual Bigfoot.
It would be ideal.
It would be ideal, but like I want to float my idea. I'm serious. Why not have? Because you are a convention for cryptids. Why not have a designated cosplayer? Have someone dress up like Bigfoot. Even better if you can get like actual makeup and prosthetics and not just a suit.
So we can talk. Yeah.
No, just to stand in front of like a background and take pictures. $5-10 a picture. Any kid who comes, anybody who comes, take a picture with Bigfoot at this cryptid convention.
And let him have something to say. Let him talk.
You keep saying that, but unless you're gonna like write a script and come up with like a mini play,
I'm in.
I'm talking about like the simple idea of just hey, take a cool picture.
I'm not a simple man, Joe.
You're kind of a simple man, Ryan.
I could just hey, I'm Bigfoot, and here I have some plaster of human footprints.
Okay, so that is funny. I will give you that. If you have Bigfoot come up and just do what we do to him,
Yes. Yes.
put on glasses, be like the tiny foot.
Yes, the known as a human being to some Homo sapien. They're a very strange creature. Like
That would be
Is it-
perfect.
It's like completely bald, except usually for on top of the head and various patches throughout the body.
And they all use the bathroom on the same chair. Weird. Weird.
That is weird. Some things are weird, Ryan.
They are, dude. We got some more weird stuff.
We do. You know how world records are broken, and that is a good example of something weird because you always have like the giant ball of twine or like the biggest hot pocket. What
That's
about
right.
the largest gathering of blank? Because let me tell you, there's a lot of those. I know Kevin Smith a while back did the largest Jay and Silent Bob gathering. To be fair, I feel like that one isn't fair because there was no one before them doing it, but still.
Well, I mean, that's their brand, so why not?
I don't know. But here, our next story is one of those. And I gotta be honest, this one tickled me pink, Ryan. Or should I say, tickled me blue?
It terrifies me, to be honest. Thousands of Smurfs gather in Frenchtown. Ah!
Hooray.
A Frenchtown feels anything but blue after the community made good on its 5-year-long quest to set a new world record for the largest gathering of people dressed as Smurfs. Why not?
Goals.
The unusual achievement reportedly occurred on May 18th, 2025, in the village of Landerneau. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's how I'm going to say it. Landerneau. The town
Sounds like you got shut off at the end.
Landerneau.
Pretty good.
The town previously tried for the title in 2020, but missed out on the record due to a technicality. A second attempt in 2023 saw the community come up short when torrential rain caused attendance to plummet.
And those people who didn't show up because of some rain,
Lame.
quitters.
Lame.
Quitters, Ryan.
That's right. That's right. At the urging of Paramount Pictures, which is releasing a new Smurfs movie this summer, the town was convinced to take yet another shot at the record, with the third time proving to be the charm. Yay! All told, a whopping 3,076 people came together on Saturday to smash the previous record of 2,762 Smurfs set by the German town of Lauchringen back in 2019.
You know what I take away from that? That this is a record that has been established and other people have done it. So I'm on board. You
That's
know what
right.
I mean? Yeah.
That's right.
You actually did accomplish something because you beat a previous record.
Yeah, well, by like 1,000. It's not bad. Not bad.
Like 1,000, like, you know.
Oh, yeah,
300.
sorry. Yeah, by like 300, but still.
That's still more people. It's more people dressed as Smurfs than I've ever got to come over.
That is a buttload of Smurfs.
All the upside down pineapples flyers in the world will not get that many Smurfs in your house.
Let me tell you, Smurfs are indeed swingers. Anyways, in a testament to enthusiasm surrounding the event, even Landerneau Mayor Patrick Leclerc was among the many attendees dressed as one of the beloved blue beings that Belgian cartoonist Peo brought to life back in 1958. Holy crap.
I don't know if I'd vote for someone in blueface.
That's right. Yeah, that could be offensive. While the record-setting event was understandably cause for celebration in the village, it remains to be seen if the former title-holding town in Germany will attempt to reclaim the Smurfish crown.
I mean, you kind of have to, right?
Like, dude, yeah, it's on, right? Like, see, this is the kind of battles that we need. Is like the battles of the Smurfs.
Well, you know, there's a town in, I think, Canada. And obviously, I don't know their name, but you could Google it very easily. They got the world record for the most people dressed as dinosaurs. Yeah. I imagine the blow-up T-Rexes. I'm not entirely sure.
That is outrageous.
Ha ha! I keep trying to find a way to have a whole episode about dinosaurs, but they're not quite cryptids.
Kind of.
I mean, a little bit, because what actually existed back then was more like a bird, so what we watch in Jurassic Park is definitely more of a monster than an actual representation of a dinosaur. But I don't know.
Well,
but that was weird, man. That was a weird story.
That was a weird story. And honestly, talking about dinosaurs, we actually mentioned it, and I was trying to find it in my notes here. But yes, the Mokele Membe is said to be a dinosaur of the Congo.
Yes.
And you know, people have said the same about it being like a plesiosaur for Loch Ness Monster or Champ.
Yeah, so you're
the Leopleurodon, a magical Leopleurodon.
So you're kind of the belief that there may still be prehistoric creatures, if
Oh, yeah.
in very small numbers, still living around the world.
That's right. And I believe in our Western episode, we even talked about the Thunderbird, and some people theorize that that was a pterosaur.
That's true, and you can check that out on our episode "Earthlings Go West."
That's
named
right.
After Fievel Goes West.
That's right. That's right. When we roll into the wild, wild west. When we stroll into the wild, wild west. When
Well,
we crawl into the
guys,
wild, wild west.
with that, we
When
are
I walk into
ending
the
the
wild,
first
wild west.
part of
When
the
I go
show.
into the-
And yeah, so that is it. And it's kind of bittersweet because normally here you would hear a commercial for the third annual Cryptids and Paranormal Conference, but it
Aw.
happened. So we're not going to have that. But hey, here's some words from a great comic book store.
Calling all comic fans, it's time to feed your brain at Green Brain Comics, where the freshest new issues, graphic novels, and manga hit the shelves every week. Whether you're looking for the hottest new series or the latest small press sensation, we've got it all. Every genre for every age, Green Brain Comics is your one-stop shop for all things graphic storytelling. Got questions? Our friendly staff knows their stuff. Whether you're a longtime fan or new to the world of comics, we've got recommendations that'll keep you coming back for more. And don't forget to check out our special events. Green Brain Comics is not just a store, it's a community. Located in East Downtown Dearborn, we are at Green Brain Comics on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Shop online at greenbraincomics.com, and remember to feed your brain. at Green Brain Comics.
Earthling Entertainment Special Report.
1. Ready or not, here I come. Will hit theaters on April 10th, 2026.
2. Avengers Doomsday has been delayed to December 2026. Avengers Secret Wars has been delayed till December 2027.
3. Stranger Things Season 5 will release in 3 parts. Volume 1, November 26th. Volume 2, December 25th. And Volume 3 on December 31st.
4. The live-action Legend of Zelda movie has been delayed to May 7th, 2027.
This has been Earthling Entertainment Special Report.
Special report.
And we are not delayed at all.
Why did I get all the delays? You
I
got
don't
all
know.
the release dates. I got all the delays.
That's right, because I'm not delayed.
Developmentally.
Ha 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 ha. Thank you, annoying voice. Now, guys, let's jump into this week's...
Music Mumbles.
Sharon Osbourne reveals she kicked a band off Black Sabbath's final concert lineup. This comes to us from MetalAddicts.com. Sharon Osbourne has revealed that she recently booted a band from the lineup of Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath's upcoming final concert, Back to the Beginning, set for July 5th at Villa Park in Birmingham. In a candid interview with Louder Sound, Sharon opened up about the behind-the-scenes tension surrounding the event and a heated conflict with another band's manager. So not the band, their manager.
Well, that actually makes sense.
While she didn't name the group directly, her comments strongly suggest a significant falling out that led to the band's removal. I'll try my best, Sharon. I had a huge to-do with a manager over this celebration for Ozzy and Sabbath. That's the best I can do, and I won't continue.
No. You've committed now.
Sharon said...
No. You need to continue every time she talks. You need to agree to this before we move on.
And it was possibly the worst way I've felt in years. And I don't care what this person says about me, thinks about it, because he doesn't know me. And he's now going to make up bullshit lies because I threw his band off the bill.
You don't know me.
Sharon made it clear that her actions were about protecting Ozzy and staying true to her own values, not about pleasing the industry.
Damn, I really wanted to watch Punching Babies. I thought that band was just sounded great.
I'm sure there's a band out there called that.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to call this cheese grating puppy face.
Yeah, we play an industrial electric non-opera.
And with Satanists.
Slightly gothic, little bit of a tip of the hat to the cure.
Oh.
I don't care what people say, because do you know what? I don't love them. I care about people who love me, what they say about me. You can't care what an industry says because you don't love them, so how can it hurt you? It doesn't. I love Sharon.
Fair enough.
When the
Does kind of seem like she's really focused on herself here, but fair enough.
Yeah, what can you do? She's frick. Dude, thanks to Sharon, we have Ozzy. If it weren't for Sharon, Ozzy would have been long gone, long ago. When the interviewer brought up past issues with Iron Maiden, specifically referencing the infamous 2005 Ozfest drama, Sharon clarified that the current situation had nothing to do with them. I love Iron Maiden. It's just the singer because he was so horribly disrespectful, she explained. But if you're going to take Ozzy's money and play before him every night of festival, and you're bad-mouthing him to the crowd, you've got to pay. So I had him pelted with cans of baked beans that were open and cut his sound. I remember seeing videos of this.
That is fantastic.
And they literally cut their sound, and then Zakk Wylde joined her on stage, like, flying an American flag, and she's like, Bruce Dickinson is an asshole. I'll never forget it. I never heard what it was that Bruce said.
Apparently he was just talking shit.
I guess, yeah, he was just talking shit. I don't know.
I mean, it makes sense. All jokes aside, don't bite the hand that feeds.
That's pretty much what it seems like, you
Yeah.
know. And
South
you gotta
Park
love
said it really well. You know what I mean? If you're not going to root for your team, get the hell out of the stadium.
Well, and you gotta love a woman who defends her man. You know what I'm saying? So
You gotta love anyone who defends their partners, because let's be honest, the people you're with tend to annoy the shit out of you at points in your life.
Can you
So
imagine?
to always get their back is like, good, you're doing it right.
You imagine me with Ozzy Osbourne.
Maybe he's a hell of a good lay, man. I don't know.
I'm sure he fucking is. Pressed on whether Iron Maiden was the band removed from the July 5th show, Sharon responded definitively. Oh God, no. Ozzy has only respect for the guys in Maiden, and he didn't even know what Bruce was doing. I never told him until the night that it happened when it was the last show, and he just looked at me and goes, "You're terrible."
Good.
You can't tell I was raised on the Osbournes. I've got them like permanently ingrained in my brain.
Yeah.
In a recent interview with Music Business Worldwide, Sharon has revealed 2 legendary rock acts she wishes could be a part of the historic night: Judas Priest and Angus Young of AC/DC. There are 2. Do I have to keep going?
Yes.
God damn
You've
it.
committed, dude.
There are 2 bands that we would have loved to have been there, but they couldn't because they're working that day, she said.
You're lucky I don't make you do the rest of the fucking show as Sharon.
And that was Judas Priest, a local band, and Angus from AC/DC, because he's always been a huge supporter of Ozzy's.
And his name means cow, so we have to throw him a bone.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good one. A T-bone.
Ooh.
Those logistics came into sharper focus when Judas Priest frontman Rob Halford, in an interview with Metal Hammer last month, revealed he is absolutely gutted to miss his friend's big night. Priest are locked into a marquee appearance on the Scorpions' 60th anniversary show in Hanover, also on the 5th of July.
Well, hold on, Ryan. The Scorpions.
Well, here I am.
Rock
you.
me like a hurricane.
Come on, baby!
Someone just got demonetized.
Leaving no practical way to hop more than 600 kilometers back to Birmingham in time. Even Sharon's offer of a private jet couldn't erase technical risks or unpredictable summer weather, Halford explained. I had no idea the Sabbath show was happening. I was absolutely gutted, he said.
I mean, you cannot predict weather. On the way home this weekend, I remember we get in and the pilot's just like, okay, guys, it's gonna be a bit bumpy. It's gonna be a little turbulent because storms. And then we leave late, we land early, and he's just like, I took shortcuts. And then I sat there and had to try to figure out, how do you take shortcuts while flying? And the only thing I could come up with is if you go to a higher altitude, maybe you're farther away from the Earth, so you move faster, because you know what I'm saying?
I'm not even going to speculate because my girlfriend will totally grill me on this later.
All right. Ask Elena what's going on with these shortcuts.
I will.
Was this pilot messing with me? Anyways, back to Ozzy. I'm sorry, guys. I just that blew my mind.
Speak your mind, Joe. Speak that blown mind. Despite the clash, Halford stressed that founding Priest guitarist K.K. Downing will appear at Villa Park, representing the spirits of the band. From afar, Halford still cherishes what the concert means. It's a wonderful and epic moment for Sabbath and heavy metal. It re-emphasizes that Birmingham is where metal came from, which is true. A lot of people argue that Sabbath's first album, Black Sabbath, self-titled, is the first heavy metal album ever.
That's still a bold statement.
I agree with it. Honestly, I stand by it.
It's like the whole, was it the Sex Pistols? Was it the Ramones?
That was another one, but Sex Pistols is more punk, in my opinion.
No. My whole point was it's the debate of where punk came from.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Okay.
Was it the Velvet Underground? Was it this? Was it that? It was,
And a lot of people actually say, I'm sure you haven't even heard of them. They're called Blue Cheer. That was like they were like almost like a hippie band, but they were heavy. And some people kind of convinced that they were the start of heavy metal.
Well, to be fair, I've actually have heard of that. Surprisingly, my dad, he liked that.
Huh. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, I don't have any more information beyond the fact that I have heard of that, Ryan.
Well, I cheer that, Joe. The concert will feature Sabbath's original lineup: Ozzy Osbourne, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward behind the drums. Yes. Because I got to see the farewell tour, and they didn't let Bill Ward on it. They replaced him with a younger drummer. He was great and all, but it was kind of like a bummer. I did get to see Black Sabbath when they headlined an Ozfest. I forget what year. And just before them was Judas Priest. It was my first time seeing both bands, and Bill Ward was behind the set that night, and it was amazing.
Fantastic. Do you know why he was not available for that show?
It was health reasons. I remember an interview with Ozzy at the time. He was not happy about it. He was basically informed, "You're not coming. You're not doing it." And Ozzy was basically saying, his health has to come first. And I remember him doing an interview where it was like a general concern.
Oh, man. How do you feel about that, though? It's like the movie The Wrestler, right? Where they're like, you're going to have a heart attack and die if you have one more fight. And he's like, I got to fight. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think about that? Does it depend on the person? How would you do if you were the man at something and you had one last opportunity, but it might kill you and you might die on stage or on the field or whatever it is? Would you do it? Because Ozzy always said that he would die like on tour, and that's the way it's supposed to be. But you told me that recently changed.
Yes, he used to say, like, if you heard that Ozzy Osbourne died in a hotel room, you'd be like, well, of course he did. But now lately he's saying, I don't want to die in a hotel room. He's like, I want to die at home with my wife and my dogs and my grandchildren.
Basically, he just got old.
And I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him.
When you're on your way out, things look different, you know?
No, I love Ozzy so much. When I was in high school, everybody called me Jack Osbourne because I kind of resembled him.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah. What is Jack Osbourne doing now? I know Kelly Osbourne.
A lot of stuff.
Kelly Osbourne married the dude from Slipknot, right?
That's right, Sid.
Yeah.
And they have a kid together, and honestly, he's absolutely adorable. They dress him up like a Slipknot guy. I've seen tons of videos of him like rocking out with them. It's adorable.
That is adorable.
But no, Jack Osbourne does a ton of stuff. He did like the Portals from Hell. And he did
Didn't he have a paranormal show himself?
Yeah, Portals to Hell.
Yeah.
And that was a really, really cool show. He had like the coolest spirit box ever.
That's pretty cool. All right, respect Jack Osbourne.
That's
I tip my hat to you.
Oh, yeah, and I believe he had a record label at one point. I believe he was the reason why The Used was even a thing.
Well, good for him.
So, reuniting for a once-in-a-lifetime show, every original member, the performance will also include a star-studded lineup with appearances from Metallica, Slayer, Pantera, Guns N' Roses, Tool, Gojira, sorry, I don't like Guns N' Roses, Alice in Chains,
Tool,
Hailstorm,
and Tool,
Lamb of God.
Did you hear about Tool?
Anthrax, Mastodon, and more. And yes, actually, I'm glad that you mentioned Tool because
I only mentioned it once or twice.
It was the big rumor that was the band that she kicked off, and it was only because of a typo on one of the flyers they put out. They forgot to put Tool on it. So it was not Tool's manager that got Tool kicked off. So Tool is still going to perform. Just want because I still see people online still angry that they quote unquote removed Tool. They did not. You heard it first here.
I'm glad that they didn't. I would figuratively, I'd murder to go to this show, dude. This sounds so amazing.
Well, you can still watch it. A pay-per-view back to the beginning. Global live stream is now being provided so that fans may access this historic event. The Raw live stream will begin at 3 p.m. BST, or British Summer Time, on July 5th. And those who purchase the live stream will continue to have exclusive access to watch the concert in its entirety for another 48 hours. Live stream tickets are available at the Back to the Beginning website. And I actually have prices
I'm going to check
right
that
here.
out because I would do that if it's reasonable. So I don't know what these prices are. You tell me, and I'm going to tell you if I think it's reasonable.
So the Back to the Beginning live stream ticket, this is for $29.99. The live stream this is what it provides. Live stream access to watch the entire Back to the Beginning event starting July 5th at 3 p.m. British Summer Time to 10 a.m. EDT 7 a.m. PDT. And it brings a VOD replay access to rewatch the entire event. VOD available from July 5th, shortly after the event conclusion, until July 7th at 3 p.m. BST, 10 a.m. EDT, or 7 a.m. PDT.
Yeah,
Forgive me, I don't know what those stand for.
Well, that's kind of my point, right? Like, it's a good thing you give me a few days or a few hours, few days to watch it, because I'm gonna mess up the time not being from like British summertime.
I've never heard of it. That's why I wrote it in.
Yeah, but we have Eastern Mountain Time. We have all that stuff too. And someone from a different country obviously would listen to that and be like, what does that mean? So
I get confused on that too.
Right. So I assume British summertime, since they're specifying summer, that they do what we do with daylight savings, right? So they might have British winter time. I don't know.
I don't know. But wait, there is another offer.
Hold on. I want to say real quick, though, that $29, it does seem a little expensive because that's how much I want to pay for a concert. Now, that being said, I know I'm very, very cheap when it comes to concerts.
Word.
But that is not too expensive. I would pay that. I could see paying that to listen to this show and see all that. You know, the live stream, like, yeah, that's worth it.
I agree. And so there is another more expensive bundle. It's called the Back to the Beginning live stream and exclusive t-shirt bundle.
Oh, so they mail you stuff.
So this is for $64.98. It includes the live stream access, the replay access, the same as the other, and a Back to the Beginning exclusive black live stream t-shirt. Features a photo of Black Sabbath, Henry, the event date, venue, and Back to the Beginning printed on the front and made in Birmingham, printed on the back of the t-shirt. Only available to live stream viewers. Product is final sale.
Huh. Maybe we'll do that, man. Maybe we'll get the families together and we'll order it and hang out.
I'd be down.
Yeah.
I really want to see this. You know, obviously I believe it's already sold out.
Well, yeah, it is.
So it's not like I'm going to jump on a plane and go to Birmingham right now. I wish I could.
I wonder if the shirt is just like, live stream viewer, or is it just going to be the concert shirt? Like, are they going to like point you out and be like, haha, this jerk had to see it via the internet?
It is. It's literally called the exclusive black live stream t-shirt, and it features, the event date and everything like that. So I have a feeling that that's exactly what it says.
Just, I paid to see this on the TV kind of shirt. Hey, but it's still probably pretty cool.
I think so.
I think I'd only go with the $30 one. Would you pay for the 60 something to get a shirt?
No,
probably
not.
I mean, I buy a shirt to every concert I go to that I like, but
So I mean, technically that tracks as far as pricing goes. $35 is the average price for a t-shirt now at a show,
and not counting shipping.
That's right. So yeah, I wonder if that's a thing.
Yeah.
I didn't have any information on that, but you can find all of this at the backtothebeginning.com.
And now, what happens from time to time is in the creation of this show, we come across an opportunity to have a new segment.
New segment, you say?
I do. Are you guys ready for a little bit of a fancy night on the town?
I've always been ready, Joe.
Well, let's all head off to the theater on this first installment of...
But what about the theater?
Will Ferrell's Eurovision movie becoming Broadway musical. This comes to us from Variety.com. Will Ferrell is taking his talents back to Broadway. The funny man is developing his film, Eurovision Song Contest, the story of Fire Saga, into a stage musical. Ferrell and Rachel McAdams starred in the 2020 movie as the Icelandic musical duo who aspire to represent their country in the titular event, a hugely popular international singing competition. Quote, "We are more than excited to bring Eurovision to Broadway. The stage musical is a perfect place to continue our celebration of all the things we love about this amazing and unifying song competition," says Will Ferrell. The Real Eurovision Song Contest supports the project's Broadway ambitions, with the organization's director, Martin Green, saying, "This is a stellar team for what I am sure will be an equally stellar adaptation of a film the world loved. Our aim always is to bring the joy of Eurovision Song Contest to more people globally."
That's right. So everyone in Europe knows about this. Not as many people in the United States and other places. I mean, I don't know about the rest of the world, but
You
in the
showed
United
it to
States,
me.
Yeah, Eurovision is exactly what they say. It's a song contest. So the contestants have one song, and they play in a competition until it's decided who the winner is. For the American audience, it's like American Idol, except
Yeah.
if the contestants only could use the one song that they picked from the beginning.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a song contest, not a band contest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
That
anyways,
tracks.
yeah. So the Will Ferrell movie that like they said came out in 2020, I loved, and my wife loved it too. We watched it so many times, and I'm actually a physical media guy, and I am not a huge fan of Netflix because Netflix very rarely releases anything outside of their streaming site, which I get. It makes sense. That's their whole business model. You have to, want to watch Netflix stuff, watch it on Netflix. But all of these actors and all of these really good filmmakers have made these exclusive deals with Netflix. Like Adam Sandler, he's done like 5 or 6 movies
A
with
ton.
Netflix, right?
Yeah.
How many of them do you honestly remember?
Wasn't it Hubie's Halloween? I remember
Sure,
that.
sure.
What was it? Murder Mystery 1 and 2?
The point is the things that are on streaming don't really have any cultural impact. Like you ask anybody, they're going to know Happy Gilmore or Billy Madison. But then didn't Adam Sandler do one with Cowboys? Was it
Yes, it was oh gosh,
How many
the
people-
Ridiculous Six?
Yeah, how many people will remember that?
I barely remember it other than the one guy had 3 nipples.
That's kind of my point.
That's all I remember.
So when I knew the new Will Ferrell movie was going to be on Netflix, I was kind of annoyed because I was like, well, great. No one's ever going to hear about it. It's not going to be that big of a deal. And it's actually a really good movie. A lot of these Netflix movies aren't that good. This one is good. You
Yeah.
need to watch it.
Yeah. No, when I think Netflix, I think like documentaries. I feel like their documentaries outshine any kind of original content, like original movies, series.
Fair enough. That is a unique perspective for me because I don't watch that many documentaries on Netflix. I have my own, tunnel for those.
Well, and obviously they had Stranger Things, and that's pretty much what I can think of.
Fair enough. But anyways, this is a great movie. If you have not seen it, I say check it out. And I definitely think that a musical, I mean, it's a song contest. So it lends itself very well to the stage.
Right. And that's where me and Joe actually met, was in an acting class.
That's true. It was the year between 6th and 7th grade.
That's right, man. 26 years ago, bro.
I know. We did the math this weekend when talking to people. It's like, we're the co-hosts that have known each other for holy shit. Because we're not that old. 26 years is kind of a lot for us, man.
If friendship is rare, you know what I'm saying to you. Friendship is rare.
That's right. Some of the friendships out there have been amazing. Bill and Ted, the Harry Potter kids, for even.
Yes.
Yeah, even some of their the other co-stars of that movie. Even the kid who played Draco. What's his name?
Tom Felton.
Oh, do you know he's coming back?
I didn't, Joe.
Well, check it out, guys. We have a story for you. Here's number 2.
Tom Felton to reprise Draco Malfoy role in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child on Broadway.
Ooh, we saw that street this weekend.
We did, while waiting in traffic forever.
It's kind of funny is Ryan told me this funny anecdote where he went and visited New York for the first time, and his girlfriend asked him, what do you want to see? And he said, I want to see Broadway.
Yep. And she takes me to the street of Broadway. And I'm like, okay, well, which building is Broadway? She's like, this is Broadway.
Yes. Like the idea that Broadway was a theater, right?
I thought it was just this one big theater. Because, like, all the songs are like Broadway or, whatever. Like, and I was just like, oh, okay, so it must be this really big grand theater. But it's just, there's a lot of really big grand theaters on Broadway.
No, I get it because it's like if someone said the Apollo and they were like, oh, the Apollo's a street, not a theater, it would blow my mind.
Yes, and it did. It blew my mind. So she was like, well, here we are. And I'm like, awesome.
Yeah,
It was not what I expected, but it was cool.
Like, oh, there's a liquor store. like, yes, it's a pretty long street. There's more than just theaters.
Yes.
So anyways, this guy from Harry Potter is going to hang out by that liquor store doing this.
Tom Felton is venturing back to Hogwarts. The actor will reprise his role as the platinum blonde villain Draco Malfoy in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child on Broadway. He will join the show on November 11th for 19 weeks through March 22nd, 2026. This marks Felton's Broadway debut. It's also the first time an original Harry Potter cast member has joined the stage production of Cursed Child. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child takes place 19 years after the original Harry Potter novel. Now, as parents, Draco, as well as Harry, Ron, and Hermione, are grown up and sending their own children off to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Here's a quote. Being a part of Harry Potter films has been one of the greatest honors of my life, Felton said. Joining this production will be a full circle moment for me, because when I begin performances in Cursed Child this fall, I'll be the exact age Draco is in the play. It's surreal.
That's wild.
That's awesome. It's surreal to be stepping back into his shoes, and of course, his iconic platinum blonde hair. And I am thrilled to be able to see his story through and to share it with the greatest fan community in the world. I look forward to joining this incredible company and being a part of the Broadway community. Tom Felton, Wingardium Leviosa.
That's good, man. So yeah, this is fun. It makes sense to me. I didn't ever actually see the play The Cursed Child, but I did read the book, which is essentially just the script. They put it in a book to be like, hey, look.
Look at this.
Yeah, here it is. Here it is. For those who can't get to Broadway, here we go. I think there's no problem with reprising an old role. I think it's kind of fun that he's the same age. I am 100% down with this. I do think it's funny because people can't help but ask with the J.K. Rowling controversy. For those of you who don't know, J.K. Rowling has certain views that people are getting all very upset about, and we're not a political show, so we're not going to get into it.
What can you do?
Yeah, but I will say that when he was asked about it, he did the smartest thing. He's just like, oh, yeah, I don't really know. I don't know. I've really paid attention. Didn't notice any of that. Don't worry about it.
Honestly, yeah. At that point, you just steer clear.
It doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
It doesn't. It shouldn't.
Because at the end of the day, it is really good for the Harry Potter fans. And the world of Harry Potter, despite what you might feel about the creator of Harry Potter, is a magical thing. And people are really excited about it. I went through all the books a few years ago, and I played Hogwarts Legacy.
Hogwarts Legacy was great, and I played it on the Switch, but I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I even went to the Harry Potter land at Universal Studios Hollywood, because when I was living in LA, it was one stop on the Red Line for me because I lived in Hollywood proper, and I got to just go with my season pass, and Harry Potter World was awesome. I just really liked it. I like going to Hogsmeade, hanging out.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of videos of it. It looks really cool.
Let me ask you, though, have you seen anything about these new kids, the new Harry Potter kids?
I knew exactly what you were looking up there, Joe. Yeah, I've seen it, and they look like they were casted very well.
Well, I will say, I think that Ron looks great, and Hermione looks great. People were saying that Hermione actually looks more accurate to the book with her bigger buck teeth and all that.
I have to agree. I read the first 3 books.
Okay, great. Now look at the new kid who's playing Harry Potter. Doesn't that kid look like a serial killer?
A little bit.
I'm saying, all right, so I'm down with all of them. And I do not know this child. He could be the coolest kid in the entire world. He can grow up to be like a saint who cures cancer. I am not actually talking about the person. But in this image where they released the cast, this kid looks like the scariest little Damien I've ever seen in my life.
He is staring right into my soul, Joe.
I mean, this is a kid who stabbed his stepmother. I'm just
just saying stabbed his stepmother. Just saying.
But that being said, Tom Felton, welcome back to the world of Harry Potter, and we tip our wands to you.
Oh.
Ooh.
Good for him, man. Good for him. That's awesome. How exciting.
Hey, I'm just glad that his career isn't dead. You know, sometimes things die, Ryan.
Yep, unfortunately, dude. And like you had previously mentioned earlier in the episode, this is our first time doing this in like a month because we had all of those bottle episodes prepared. But so we missed out on a few. So here's a lot that happened.
Yeah. So here's a laundry list of people on this week's.
Remember that guy? Remember that gal? Well, now they're dead.
The people we lost last month. This comes to us from Variety.com, CBR.com, TheHollywoodReporter.com, ABC7NY.com. Jonathan Joss. Jonathan Joss, an actor on King of the Hill who voiced John Redcorn died in a shooting on June 1st, 2025. San Antonio police confirmed to Variety. He was 59. Joss also had a recurring role in Parks and Recreation as Chief Ken Hutot and appeared in films and shows like Tulsa King, Ray Donovan, True Grit, The Magnificent Seven, and more. You will be missed.
He will be missed. And apparently he was shot by his neighbor. But some good news is his neighbor did admit to it. So, justice hopefully will be served.
And definitely should be. Moving on. Phil Robertson. Phil Robertson, the star of Duck Dynasty, has died. The show followed Robertson's family for 11 seasons from 2012 to 2017 as they ran his Duck Commander hunting business in Louisiana.
And I wasn't a huge fan of the show, but my stepdad was. So on his behalf, that guy actually will be missed by him.
Oh, very much, dude. I mean,
He was a character.
they were iconic. I remember seeing stuff about them all the time. Eric Legrand. Eric Legrand, the French voice actor for Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z, has passed away at the age of 66. Patrick Borg, the French voice actor of Goku in Dragon Ball Z, confirmed Legrand's passing. He was taken to the palliative care unit on Monday, May 19, 2025. The exact date of death is still currently unknown.
So obviously we watched the American version, not the French version, but I know you were such a fan of Dragon Ball Z, I wanted to throw that one in there.
Sorry, I just had to do a power-up in his honor. Sly Stone. Sly Stone, the pioneering leader of the funk band bearing his name, Sly and the Family Stone, has died, according to his family. Stone was 82 years old.
Yeah, a new documentary's coming out about him. So if you're a fan of what he brought to the table in his funk music stylings, he's definitely a legend.
Definitely. George Wendt. George Wendt, who played the beer-quaffing everyman Norm Peterson on the sitcom Cheers, has died. He was 76. Wendt starred in beer commercials for Miller Lite and Meister Brau. George Wendt said the fans of Cheers yelled, "Norm!" at him, just like on the show, and frequently brought him into a round. In addition,
They bought him around.
Thank you.
They
Bought
kept
him
getting
around.
yeah.
Forgive me, misread that. In addition, he co-wrote a 2009 book, Drinking with George, a Barstool Professional's Guide to Beer. Here's a quote. "I'm a simple man. I don't ask for much. Give me a nice, comfortable chair, a cool breeze, a ball game on the radio, and an ice-cold beer, and I couldn't be happier," he wrote to open the book. "Truth be told, if it came down to it, I could live without the chair. Cool breeze is nice, but it isn't exactly mandatory for a good time. And there are plenty of times when I don't have access to a ball game. But a world without beer? I don't know if that's the kind of world I want to be in." George Wendt, you will be missed.
That's right. And Ryan, I know you're a fan of the brews you talked about at the conference that you tried a lot of really cool New Jersey brews. What, anything in particular come to mind?
Oh, gosh, it was like Cape Cope was the one that I really liked. They had a double IPA that was out of this world, dude. Amazing. Honestly, and there was another one I tried from the Bronx Brewery, which was called The World's Gone Hazy. And it was really good. It was a hazy IPA.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
It was really, really good. That was definitely my favorite one that I had at the airport.
Well, you kind of did more exploration than I did. I stuck to Guinness this whole trip.
You definitely did.
I did. I was a Guinness man,
You always have been. But, man, honestly, it's George Wendt, that one hit me because I remember growing up on Cheers.
Oh,
I used to watch Cheers a lot. That was how I got to know, Andy Kaufman.
Everybody. Andy Kaufman, I think you're thinking of Taxi for that one.
Oh, that was Taxi.
Yeah.
Dude,
Cheers is the
Nick
bar.
at Night. Yeah, Nick at Night.
But you know, Cheers was a lot of people don't know this. Frasier came from Cheers. He was a character.
Right. Thank you.
Cheers,
That was it.
And what else I liked about Cheers is just that song. Everybody knows your name. Boom, doom, doom. Just demonetized.
I remember there was a punk band who did a cool cover of that. Where don't you want to go where everybody knows your name?
Absolutely. I mean, the kids today, no, seriously, like for some reason, Gen Z like really fell in love with that song. And I think for a short time, that Cheers theme actually went up in the charts.
I think so too.
Yeah.
No, dude, classic. But
So everyone who passed away this month, we tip our hat to you.
and here's my beer to you, sirs.
And George Wendt, we're probably actually going to read your book. That sounds pretty fun.
It does sound fun.
And with that, we're at the final segment of the show, our headlines. And you know what? It's actually been a while. It's been 5 weeks since we've done a proper headlines. And there was just so many stories. And there's just the problem is there's a lot of things that we know our listeners would be interested in, but there's such big stories that they've already heard. And it's like, are we going to recap the things we missed that was like 3 or 4 weeks ago? Well, yes, well, no. So what I did is I tried to pick 3 stories that I felt as though weren't broadcast all over the place. So these
Right.
might be some things that you guys did not know about. So strap into this week's
Jurassic World director Colin Trevorrow.
Colin Trivio. Or
Thank you.
Trevorrow? No, you might be right. Trevorrow. Continue.
Will direct and produce an Area 51 thriller. This comes to us from Nerdist.com. Thanks to director Colin Trevorrow, the Jurassic World franchise continues to go strong after 10 years after it began. Now, he's setting his sights on something otherworldly and full of conspiracy goodness. Trevorrow is teaming up with Ryan Reynolds' Maximum Effort production banner to direct and produce an Area 51 thriller at Paramount Pictures. I wonder if this is going to be influenced. Remember the old Area 51 shooter game? Like the House of the Dead, where you had to like reload by shooting off screen.
I loved that arcade game. That was absolutely a lot of fun. I don't know if it's based on anything, because do you have to base on anything? There's been other Area 51 movies. There's been conspiracy theories. There's been books written. The one I love is there's a book called The Day After Roswell. I highly suggest that.
Ooh.
But I don't know. If it was based on that game, I'd be down.
I remember having it on the old family computer. No joke.
Really?
Yes, sir. Like the original old family Microsoft 96 or whatever.
Wow. So for those of you who don't know, the game Area 51 he's referring to was an arcade game, but it was what was referred to as a rail shooter. And what that means is you are basically, imagine being on a roller coaster where you are on a track. So you don't control your movement. It moves for you around the world, and you are just literally aiming and shooting at the various alien creatures who are jumping at you.
I think the popular version of that would be like House of the Dead.
House of the Dead is definitely the example I would use. Oh, Pokemon Snap.
That one was a great
For
example, sir.
1960, well, not 1960, for the Nintendo 64.
That's right. And then they made a new Pokemon Snap for the Switch, which was an amazing game. Really fun.
Fantastic. Back to aliens.
According to Deadline, the project will be set in the late 1980s and follow the Las Vegas journalist who broke the story about Area 51. Things are in the very early stages, so there's no more information at this time about any casting, title, nor release date details.
We got nothing.
Thomas and William Wheeler penned the script for this Area 51 thriller by Trevorrow and Ryan Reynolds production company. But for those who aren't familiar, Area 51 is a highly classified U.S. Air Force facility a little over 80 miles southwest of Las Vegas in Nevada. For decades, the secrecy around this location has led to all sorts of conspiracy theories, namely those of the extraterrestrial and UFO variety.
And honestly, it would be kind of really funny if there's some listener of our show just like, Area 51?
What is that?
What is that? I've never heard of that. Tell me more.
and unless we forget like the viral Facebook event, we're all going to storm Area 51 and Naruto run into Area 51. And I remember seeing someone who was in the military getting briefed on what a Naruto run was. And he had it titled, "See What Y'all's Memes Did."
Well, please tell me, what is a Naruto run, Ryan?
You put your arms straight and back as far as you can, lean forward, and sprint.
All right.
It comes from the show Naruto.
I got that.
It's an anime.
I know. I'm down. I'm down with anime. I'm just not down with all anime. And
I never.
There's so much I couldn't possibly keep up. And some of them are like, here's 4 episodes. That's our whole story. And others like, oh, hold my beer. Here's 4,329 episodes.
And I remember being a part of that Facebook event. It was viral. Like people across the country enjoyed it. Like millions of people had said that they were going to be attending. And I believe one of the other like titles of it is, "Hey, come on, they can't stop us all."
We're running like idiots. They have guns. How could this go wrong? Well, luckily it didn't go wrong.
No, and actually it went really well. They actually had a lot of staff come out and like do they were kind of doing almost like a press conference where they kind of talked about what they do.
How else are you gonna handle that?
Right, because a lot of people showed up.
That is fun. You know what's if we were there, my suggestion would be, all right, guys, we're here. We're going to participate, but we ain't going to be the first ones running. We're going to see how they respond before we start moving towards the place.
No, and honestly, I think it really went off, like I said, like arguably like really wholesome. Like everybody showed up. No one planned on entering. They just showed up because it was viral. And they actually sent out a bunch of staff to talk to everybody and kind of explain, what they do, the history of the place. It was really cool.
I mean, that's intense, man. I'm glad that plan went okay because, some plans don't.
Some plans don't.
Like the plan for this franchise we're about to talk about. It almost went off the rails, but we have an interesting update. Well, you know what? I don't need to tell you. Why don't you check out headline number 2?
Blumhouse reportedly acquiring Saw franchise rights from Twisted Pictures.
Huh?
This comes to us from bloodydisgusting.com. There's been a lot of talk about the future of the Saw franchise in recent months, with some suggesting that the franchise is dead, in the wake of Saw 6 being pulled from the... Sorry, is that terrible?
That's 11.
That's 11.
That's
I
11.
do not know Roman numerals.
All right.
Saw 11.
All right, hold on. A V is 5. An X is 10. And any number before it is takeaway from it. So if there's one before the X, it's 9. If there's one after the X, it's 10. Same with 5. So 6 would be V1.
So from now on, I'm just going to say, so in the wake of Saw XI being pulled from the release schedule, coming off the successful 10th installment, Saw XI was set to release on September 26, 2025. But turmoil behind the scenes left the fate of the franchise hanging in the balance.
Ooh, drama.
Deadline provides a shocking update on the state of Saw tonight, reporting that Blumhouse is acquiring the prospective rights to Twisted Pictures, portion of the Saw franchise.
Yeah, so like basically they had equal parts. Now they're buying them out.
Blumhouse is essentially taking over the IP's ownership from Twisted's Mark Berg and Oren Kulis. The exclusive report reveals Lionsgate will continue to be involved as a partner. How this apparently works is that Lionsgate owned 50% of the rights to Saw, while Twisted Pictures owned the other half, and Blumhouse will be acquiring Twisted's half. From what we understand, Twisted Pictures and Lionsgate had disagreements that spelled the end of the planned Saw 11. I was going to say it.
Yeah.
They had temporarily left the franchise's future in limbo. According to Deadline's report, an 11th installment in the franchise isn't currently in development, though we can expect the Saw saga will be back on the big screen before long. In an interesting twist, Deadline also notes that the Blumhouse deal will bring original Saw co-creator James Wan back into the franchise fold, thanks to the recent merger between Blumhouse and James Wan's Atomic Monster.
Yeah. So Saw 10 was the last Saw movie, and it did pretty well.
I liked it.
So I'm going to take you on a quick journey. Saw had, I believe, 1 through 7, and the last Saw movie kind of ended that. Then they tried to reboot it with a film called Jigsaw, And then they had Spiral from the Book of Saw starring Chris Rock.
I loved that one.
Yeah, and all of those are good, but they're kind of a little bit of a side story. So then when we came out with Saw 10, it took place in between, I believe, 2 and 3. It may have been between 1 and 2, but either way, it kind of inserted itself in the middle. Reason being, John Kramer, the killer from Saw, died in the, spoiler, but it's a very old movie, in Saw 3. So that's why...
the dude had cancer forever.
Yeah, well, that's why all the subsequent movies had like, this was my assistant, this was my secret assistant, this was my ex-wife. They were all in on it. Blah, 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 blah,
He should have just kept the backwards hat on. He would have remained young forever.
Woo! Well, it's funny you bring that up because Saw 10 had him come back, right? Well, he's old. He's in his late 80s. You could look it up if you want, but I don't know the exact number. So the fact that Saw 11 got delayed and now kind of taken off. It's scrapped. They're going to do a Saw 11, but not the one they were going to do, which is why this has all happened. They better hurry if they want to do it with that original actor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's not getting any younger. I have to imagine if it takes them too long to get this together, that they're going to have either a prequel with a young actor playing like a very young version of the killer, or they're going to kind of just move on with, hopefully not give us another apprentice, but just take one of the previous apprentices that isn't dead. I don't know if any of them aren't dead. It's such a convoluted storyline, the Saw franchise. But the last one made a buttload of money. So they're definitely going to make another one. That's why Blumhouse bought 50% the rights, the whole rights. I mean,
makes sense.
They know they could make more money off
They
this.
want to play a game.
I mean, if nothing else, even though it sounds silly, you could always reboot it too. I mean, it's like how many times have we rebooted killers? We have a reboot of Freddy and Jason and Leatherface every other day, and I say bring it on.
The wine in your glasses have been replaced by the blood of a three-toed sloth.
A fan of the Saw franchise, I see.
Gary, your bed is surrounded by armed mousetraps. If you want to look up what I'm referencing, it was the Saw dude as your roommate. It was so freaking funny.
Yeah, so what is it? The little tricycle puppet. Imagine if you were roommates with him, and just do a quick Google and you will get every reference Ryan just made.
It's so funny.
It is funny. You know what else is funny? The idea that Lucasfilm is actually going to make more Star Wars movies.
Are you sure?
Well, you know, we are getting The Mandalorian and Grogu, but that is essentially a movie of a TV show, so I don't know how well it's going to do. But apparently Shawn Levy, they've been talking about his Star Wars film. Now, I want to remind everyone who's listening that Taika Waititi was supposed to do a Star Wars movie. Nope, didn't happen. Then we were going to have a Kevin Feige Star Wars movie. Never happened. Yep. Rian Johnson was going to have a trilogy of movies. Never happened.
Yep.
Daisy Ridley apparently was going to do a Rey movie. That's still up in the air, but it looks like it's not going to happen.
Probably nope.
What about Wonder Woman director? Her name slips my mind at this moment, but she was supposed to do a Rogue Squadron movie, and Kathleen Kennedy came out on stage. I don't know if it was Disney Celebration or Comic-Con, but came out on stage, and there was a video of her next to X-Wings and fighter pilots and just being like, we're going to do this Rogue Squadron movie. Yeah.
That game was awesome. N64, it was so hard.
Well, you know what? That movie, last time I heard they're going to try to do it again, but that never happened. So this Shawn Levy movie, take with a grain of salt. I don't know if this movie will actually happen, but they do keep casting it. We've already heard that Ryan Gosling was going to be a part of this movie.
Handsome bastard.
I know. And now we have word of more cast members. So here, strap in.
Were you a goth?
What?
Were you a goth?
Oh, Mia Goth.
Mia Goth.
Oh, Mia Goth.
Mia Goth joins Ryan Gosling in Star Wars Starfighter.
What? By the way, this is the first time I ever heard of that little subtitle name. You know, I never heard Starfighter in here before.
I want to say I did.
Fair enough. Where's that Daisy Ridley movie? All right, continue.
This comes to us from darksideoftheforce.com. Star Wars Starfighter has its next star to join Ryan Gosling in the Shawn Levy film. The Hollywood Reporter has shared that Mia Goth will star alongside Gosling as a villain in the film. In Starfighter, Gosling will protect a young person from a pursuer, and Goth has been cast to play one of these villains. Now, granted, Lucasfilm has not commented on any of this. So always take news like this with a grain of salt, like Joe said.
Yeah, but like I said, even when Lucasfilm announces it, it could be bullshit. So, anything you hear about Star Wars, don't believe until it's at the theater, is all I'm going to say right now.
Yeah, until it's physically in front of you, just don't believe it. It's the first film to take place after the events of The Rise of Skywalker, but will still chronologically be before the Rey Skywalker New Jedi Order movie starring Daisy Ridley, supposedly.
Yeah, that may or not happen. But anyways, this is essentially a direct sequel to what was it? The Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah.
So that's good. We're moving in the right direction.
Moving on, yeah. With the government destroyed during the events of The Force Awakens, we don't even know what the galaxy or its leaders even look like in this time period.
E.T.
Right? I mean, they're canon. Starfighter might have to do some very important heavy lifting in establishing a post-episode IX story. Gosling and Levy came out with the formal announcement at Star Wars Celebration Japan back in April, giving us some of the earliest details. Set to start filming this fall, Starfighter is set to be a standalone adventure out just in time for Star Wars' 50th anniversary.
That's awesome.
As of right now, Star Wars Starfighter is set to release on May 28th, 2027. Far, far away.
If it does come out, I actually am excited about this. Ryan and I were talking before the show, and we said that like if Star Wars was going to be made today, that Ryan Gosling could have really easily been cast as Han Solo.
I think, yeah, him and Chris Pratt would have probably had to do a duel over it.
Yeah, I don't think Chris Pratt would have done it though, because Chris Pratt, it was too close to Star-Lord. And you know what? That might be why they wouldn't cast him, right?
Right.
Especially since it's the same shit, because it's Disney. So Disney makes Marvel and Star Wars. Doesn't that really feel like you're just like back in the old day with contract actors? Like, like, you know what? We're going to have our 4 actors in everything. Here's the Duke. Here's John Wayne in a John Wayne story starring John Wayne, playing John Wayne.
May the Force be with you, Pilgrim.
But hey, Mia Goth, I don't know. Do you know anything about her? I'm pretty aware of her work, and I'm a fan. I liked the whole trilogy she did of X.
I was going to say,
Pearl.
I recognize her, but I don't know those things.
Okay, so there's a movie called X, and then Pearl is a prequel to it, and then the last one is Maxine. She is the star of all 3 films. However, she plays 2 different roles. Once she plays Pearl, and then the other one she plays Maxine. Great stuff. I think the first thing she did that was like a big splash is, do you remember A Cure for Wellness with Dane DeHaan? He was in that one.
I know the name.
It was the one of the asylum. Jason Isaacs was like experimenting on people with like eels, the electric eels in the insane asylum, kind of like Shutter Island feel.
I got nothing. I recognize the name, but I don't think I saw it.
Fair enough. Well, she's done a lot of things that are in the horror genre. I don't know if she's technically a scream queen, but there's that. She's got a very unique look, and I am a fan. I don't know if she's like my favorite actress, but I totally think she could fit very well as a villain in this Star Wars universe.
She does have a rather villainous look to her.
She does. But here's the thing, right? If this was taking place during the age of the Empire, I would say that she was definitely a second sister, an Inquisitor, right?
Good call.
But since we don't actually have any information, they could pretty much do what they want. They could make her just a bounty hunter.
They could make her a bounty hunter, or she could be an apprentice to a Sith Lord.
I think because it's a standalone movie, they're going to probably stay away from the Sith stuff because, like, what is popular in Star Wars right now? Andor. Andor has very small, brief mentions of the Force. They slightly hint that maybe the Force is directing Andor's life and what, maybe he has some big destiny, but there are no, wizards and there are no Star Wars. And that's what's popular because what came before that? Ahsoka. That had full-on Jedi, full-on lightsabers, and it did badly. And you could say the same for Acolyte, And I don't want to say they did badly. They just weren't as popular as they had hoped. So considering what is working financially or we just in the fandom right now in Star Wars is actually a lack of the Force, a lack of the lightsabers and space wizards,
Well, and you know
then
me.
I'm just saying, I think that would make this new film be more like that. I don't think we're getting a lot of Jedi, especially since it's standalone.
I could see that. I could see that because a lot of times, forgive me, it seems like when it comes to the Force and the Jedi, they almost use it as a crutch, if that makes sense. Like a lot of times, it almost too much like over supersedes a good storyline. They're just like, oh, Jedi and this and Force and this, and
It's a get out of jail free card. It's your
yeah,
nuclear option. It's the Hulk in the Avengers. It's letting 11 out in Stranger Things.
exactly.
It wins the game. It's a trump card.
And honestly, I loved Book of Boba Fett. I
Yeah.
remember I watched it. I want to say I watched it like a bunch of times, and I stayed offline
It's
like the
kind
whole
of funny
time.
that so many people don't like it because I also really enjoyed it.
And then I signed in online, and I was just like so excited about it. And everyone, not everyone, a lot of people did not like it. And for that reason, you brought up earlier, I wanted to mention, you brought up earlier that we got Mandalorian Grogu coming out in 2026. And they have said that because of the quote unquote failure of Book of Boba Fett, that they're not even going to include Boba Fett, which blows my mind because that actor is just so ingrained to me in the franchise. He was Jango Fett. He's the voice of every single clone.
I love it when they bring back actors to reprise roles years and years later. You know, like the chick who does Mon Mothma, excuse me, I don't mean to diminish. The woman who plays Mon Mothma in Andor is literally, she started out as a non-speaking extra in the Revenge of the Sith.
Uh-huh.
She played Mon Mothma. She got casted from like Central Casting or some other like, really simple background actor essentially, and now she got a whole big show where she is really featured. So keeping the same actors is amazing. And you know what's funny is the guy who plays Bell Organa was always played by the same character, and they recently had to switch him up in Andor due to scheduling conflicts, and that jarred me a little bit.
Huh.
It jarred me because I'm so used to Star Wars sticking with the same actors when possible.
In the same token, you just reminded me, the dude who played Thorin Oakenshield in the Hobbit trilogy was literally just a background character in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I believe he was just a random non-speaking soldier in the what was it, the Naboo.
Huh. Yeah, that makes sense, man. It's amazing when you go back. I think Evangeline Lilly, who was also in the Hobbit movies as the female elf they wrote in for the movies but wasn't in the book. But she was also Kate in Lost. I love her.
Oh, you
and she's
loved Lost.
Oh, yeah, and she's the Wasp in Ant-Man and the Wasp. But the point is, she
Cool.
was basically like student number 4, and you can
Right.
see her in the background leaning on a locker in Freddy vs. Jason.
Huh.
Yeah. So that
That was
always
a
helps.
great movie. Oh my God, Freddy vs. Jason was one of my favorite movies ever.
It was a fun one. I am a fan of the Friday the 13th franchise, as you know. But I guess that's all we really need to say about Star Wars right now. If Star
it?
Wars, yeah, we could talk forever, right? But if Star Wars Starfighter happens, I think Ryan Gosling and Mia Goth could be a great addition. I'm down. I hope they label this like they did Rogue One and Solo. I hope it is Starfighter, a Star Wars story. I hope that's what they do, to stick with the motif they were putting out there before Solo flopped, and they decided to oh no, well oh shit, our Boba Fett movie and our Obi-Wan movie, well, it can't be movies anymore. What are we gonna do? Oh, let's put a bunch of filler in there and make them a 6-episode
And that's
series.
what ruins it.
Genius.
I know.
Well, anyways, I hope they go back to these. If you're gonna make a one-off side story, then do that, a Star Wars story. And then if our mainstream movies are not about the Skywalkers anymore, I'm fine if you don't want to continue that lineage, but I would like mainstream Jedi driven as the main focus. But these side movies, they could be anything. We don't need Jedis.
Permission for another like little random Star Wars anecdote?
Yeah, why not?
You talked to Ahsoka just a bit ago, and we know that the actor who played Balin Skull unfortunately passed away.
Yeah,
And
he did.
we were not sure what was going to happen there because they really built up a whole lot that he was about to go do.
Yes, so Ahsoka season 2, this character is basically set up like it ends where he is standing on a mountaintop on crumbled statues of the Mortis gods.
Thank you. I knew you knew what that was.
And the Mortis gods, to be clear, the best thing would be to look up the Clone Wars episode. It was an animated series. I know it's a lot of deep lore.
A lot.
But basically, it comes up with the whole idea of like how the Force starts and who is actually behind the Force. And when we say Mortis gods, we mean like actual gods in the world of Star Wars. But the point is, this character seems like he's going to like be a part of really major Star Wars lore, and then the actor goes, "Meow."
And it sucked because he passed right before everybody got to see Ahsoka, before it was even aired, and the fans all came together and agreed he was amazing.
He did
This
a great
character
job.
was so good, so interesting. It was so powerful, and there was so much depth to his character, right? Because we could tell there was something else there. He was telling everybody, "Oh, I'm here for this, I'm here for that," but you could tell that he had ulterior motives. And then, yes, like I said previously, he passed away, and we weren't sure were they just gonna cut off the character? Were they gonna kill him off? But no. I don't know the actor's name. I think Joe might be looking it up for me right now. It was the actor who played the Hound in Game of Thrones, and his name is, forgive me if I get this wrong, Sandor Clegane.
Yeah.
Will be playing Balin Skull.
And he was friends with the actor who died, and he actually got permission from the widow to reprise the role. Did you know that?
I did not know that. I sent you the interview with him just being like, I'm so happy that that in the first place they're continuing this character story and didn't decide to just write it off, like happens a lot of times that we see when things like this happen. And he's so honored to have the role, and he really wants to do it justice. He really wants the fans to embrace him becoming Balin Skull.
And it's so important to appreciate your fans. Like you mentioned how the gentleman from Guns N' Roses famously does not appreciate his fans.
And that's why I don't got much else to say about Axl Rose, because he does not. Like, you're going to go see Axl Rose, you're going to go see Guns N' Roses, bring a lunch. You're going to be sitting a while.
He ain't coming out
for about an hour and a half after he should.
But you know what? I bring that up because we do care about our fans, and every new fan that we met this weekend at the convention. It has been such an honor to meet like real life people listen to the show, because we do this in a studio. We're recording, we edit it, but and we get comments and feedback. But when we get a face to face with someone who's actually enjoying and listening, it's something else.
And that's why we love doing conventions. It's really just like Joe said, it's like here, it's just me and Joe here in the studio. So this past weekend, being in New Jersey, was our first time in New Jersey. And man, we couldn't have felt more embraced, more supported. It was so cool. And we got to see everybody else helping each other out. Everyone was supporting one another, promoting one another. And that's why it just, gosh, man, I can't say how much. What a great experience.
We love New Jersey, and New Jersey apparently loves us. It is mutual, and let me just say that upside down pineapple is on the invitation.
That's, well.
Yeah, but no, you know what, guys? We got to end the show, but because we went kind of crazy with the merch, we got some stuff left over. We're definitely going to go and do some other shows before the end of the year, of course. But you know what? I figure we can just give some stuff out. If you guys want to, contact us at Earthling Entertainment Podcast at gmail.com. You can hit us up on Facebook or Instagram. And basically we'll work it out. You send us the shipping, we'll send this stuff to you for free. We'll give you a Earthling Entertainment bag, a Frisbee known as a flying saucer, a keychain, a couple stickers, and of course, the whole shebang in a quick little envelope. I don't know. Well, how much do you think it'll cost? $5 to ship?
Yeah, give or take. And the keychains are a functioning bottle opener. And if you are a TikToker, I am on our TikTok pretty much every day. You can find us at Earthling Entertainment. So because I had to do the shortening of entertainment because they wouldn't let me have the whole thing.
Yeah, fair enough. So like we just discussed, probably wouldn't cost that much. We'll figure it out. And that's all we'll charge you. We'll send it to your way. I don't know if anybody be interested in that, but you know what? Why not? Otherwise, we'll tell you when the next show is. But guys, the best way to support us, if you enjoyed what you listened to today, is download the episode. Downloading the episode is actually the best way to be like, hey guys, keep doing what you do.
Other than that, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to share this podcast, this very episode, with your coworker, with a loved one, with a fellow Earthling.
Yeah, so from all of us here at Earthling Entertainment, we will see you next week and every Wednesday. Download the episodes. We love you, and that is a fancy new hat. And goodbye.
May the Force be with you.